of Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television is made possible in part by Goodman's Jewelers. John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers, proud of the tradition started by Robert and Irwin Goodman. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. The Mendota Gridiron Club, the official fundraising organization for University of Wisconsin football. University Athletic Department, with official information about Badger athletics on the web. The Wisconsin Alumni Association, connecting, enriching, and serving UW-Madison alumni and friends for more than 140 years. UWalumni.com. And by the Badger Fund, the Wisconsin Athletic Department's annual fundraising program, 14,000 donors, supporting 750 Badger student athletes.
And welcome one final time this season to Camp Randall Stadium on a November Saturday late morning and early afternoon. It is the Wisconsin Badgers and the Buffalo Bulls in college football. I'm Mike Heller along with former Badger Scott Nelson. And, you know, this game would normally be about getting to 11-1 and what does the opponent bring. But Nelly, after this type of a season with a 7-1 Big Ten record already put to bed, a chance to get 11 wins, this isn't really about Buffalo. This is all about Wisconsin.
This is about Wisconsin, and it's about these seniors that have led this team the entire year, guys that have started for a long time, and some new faces that have also been out there, but John Stocco, Joe Stelmacher, Joe Monty. You look across the board, and these guys have done exactly what Coach Bielema has wanted, and that's lead this team from start to finish, and they got one more time to prove it today.
There are 19 seniors taking the field today for the last time at Camp Randall Stadium, and we'll talk about them throughout, including Joe Thomas, and we'll get to Joe in just a minute. But one of the things that Buffalo brings to the table is a freshman receiver. When you're building a program, you have to rely on freshmen, and Naaman Roosevelt is outstanding.
Yeah, he's tremendous, and much like Wisconsin, they've had to rely on a lot of young guys to play, but he's emerged really as a dual threat, not only receiving the football, but also at punt and kick returns, and I watch for him to have a big day. I got a feeling he's going to have a lot of chances to do that. On the flip side, for Wisconsin, though, is Joe Thomas, who you just mentioned. Coming off a great junior, knee injury in the bowl game, but he's responded. He's bigger, he's faster, he's better shape than he was a year ago, and he's getting all the accolades at this point right now, Mike. He's a guy that has really led this team, and he's the face of this program.
Wisconsin, a top 10 team in the country, and the Buffalo Bulls will have the kickoff coming up next from Camp Randall Stadium. This is Wisconsin football on Wisconsin Public Television. All right, we decided the kickoff wasn't that important, and you didn't miss anything. You got kicked out of the end zone. And Buffalo, who won the opening kickoff as Wisconsin won the toss and deferred to the second half, the Bulls will go right to left as we open the ball game. And at quarterback, Paoli, under some pressure, and it's intercepted by Jack Ike on the game's first play. Ike steps up and intercepts it. It's his second of the season.
I tell you, Mike, you know, a lot of people are wondering how Wisconsin's going to respond. The Big Ten season is over. You're playing a program that hasn't had a lot of success. Are they going to come out and are they ready to play? And I think they showed it right there from one of their young players, and Jack Ike. Big play. This is a great way to start on defense, and it gets all the momentum back to your offensive squad.
For Ike, that is his second interception this year, the fifth of his career, and he's having just an absolutely fabulous season. Wisconsin will start with Tyler Donovan at the quarterback, number 12, a 6'1", 193 junior from Heartland Arrowhead. Got his first career start last Saturday, a winning effort and a player of the week on offense at Iowa. With plenty of time and over the middle, Hubbard to the 2 and to the end zone. 2 plays in, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. What a start.
I tell you, I don't think you can start a game faster than what they did right there. 1 play on defense, 1 play on offense, 6 points, a chance for 7. This is exciting because this senior class has earned this privilege to be out here. They've done things all well, and you know what? You see a couple of young guys stepping up and rewarding them on their biggest day of their career.
56 seconds into the game, there have been 3 plays, a kickoff, an interception, and a touchdown pass. And now an extra point, and Wisconsin leads it 7-0. The drive is 1 play, 26 yards, and 29 seconds off the clock.
You know, and Donovan's picking up right where he left off yesterday. He went to Hubbard, or last week, went a couple times to Hubbard, who dropped the ball or didn't quite get the job done in the last few weeks. Hubbard's called on today. Great protection up front for Donovan. He steps up and he gets to the seam and he recognizes where his second and third threat are. He goes to his third guy on the backside from Hubbard, who's wide open, that makes a couple nifty moves to dance into the end zone.
Hubbard caught 2 balls for 20 yards a week ago. Donovan, who is coming off a 21 of 32 performance with 256 yards and 2 touchdowns, adds his third here.
And Donovan last week produced close to 300 yards of all-purpose offensive yards, so he's a threat not only throwing the ball, as you see here, but also with his legs. He's quick, he's agile, and he can outrun and make some plays happen that way, too.
Well, you know, there was an element of the sporting public who wondered if Wisconsin, with everything already done, would come out a little flat for this. Well, 2 plays into the game with an interception and a touchdown pass, maybe you could put that thought to bed. Wisconsin has already concluded the Big Ten season with a 7-1 mark, assured of no worse than a second-place finish in the league. And Brett Bielema, the only rookie coach in Big Ten history to get 10 wins.
And the first one that has a chance at 11, plus to set a new single-season record for Wisconsin with 11 wins during the regular season, and obviously a chance to go somewhere warm during bowl season. And, you know, when people look at the coaching staff he's put together, the young team that he's had with some great senior leadership, he's got all facets of this program striking at the same time and doing things and moving this program forward, which is going to be a great springboard for the future of his career and for this Wisconsin Badger football team.
Well, Wisconsin is ranked 12th this week in the Associated Press, 10th in the USA Today poll, and 9th in the BCS rankings. There you see the Buffalo coach, Turner Gill, in his first year. Long and successful career as a player and a coach at Nebraska, was with the Green Bay Packers last year in the NFL before taking over this Buffalo program. If you just listen to Turner Gill talk, you believe that he'll get it done.
Yeah, and this is a guy that I think you're right, can get it done. And at Buffalo, you need somebody with that personality and that drive and that motivation to get out there and recruit hard and compete and battle with other MAC schools and battle with other top 10 programs for big-time athletes. And he's a name that kids know and they recognize and they respect. And I would look for good things for this program in future years.
Buffalo no stranger to significant games. Melhoff's kick will bounce at the 7 and roll into and out of the end zone. Let's talk about the Buffalo Bulls offense. Tony Paoli is the quarterback, getting his 3rd start, a senior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, going up to play in the Northeast. Paoli is the quarterback. Starks and Sharon are in the backfield. Bro and Roosevelt. Naaman Roosevelt, we talked about him in the open, outstanding freshman receiver. And then up front, they have a true freshman starting one of the tackles. No senior. Well, they do have a senior at the other tackle in Gary Weisinger. Everybody else is underclassmen in that group up front. Their second offensive play, and they will again look to throw near wing, and again tipped and nearly intercepted. Roosevelt was trying to work on a receiver bubble screen, but it never quite developed, and Paoli missed him on the near side. Badgers defensively up front start Joe Monty. It is his 49th game at the University of Wisconsin, his 25th start. Chapman is getting his 20th start up front. And the linebackers are outstanding. Levy and Casillas surround the seniors, Zalewski in the middle. And then 2 senior safeties in Rogers and Stellmacher. Stellmacher, a captain up the middle. In fact, they're 2 deep at both safety positions, are all seniors. Bubble screen to the right. Flag is down in the backfield. It sets up well for Buffalo. In fact, Naaman Roosevelt is inside the 40 and the 35-yard line, but I think this one is coming all the way back. The referee comes back to grab the flag that's at the 8-yard line, and let's see if he pulls it all the way back.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer.
I guess not.
15 yards will be added on to the end of the run. First down.
So Buffalo comes out of the gate and responds, and it looks like it's going to be Levy. Levy hit him late and hit him with the crown of the helmet.
Yeah, and that's a good call by the official, and it's unfortunate. Those are the penalties that drive coaches nuts because it's tacked on to the end of a huge play, extra 15 yards, and gives them momentum back to this Buffalo offense here who struggled a little bit early. Obviously, throwing an interception, an incomplete pass first, but they ran almost the same play, just an inside screen with Naaman Roosevelt, who that time capitalized for a big-time play.
Well, that's a huge play because not only was it wide open on the screen, they run it down for a big play. They get the 15 yards tacked onto the end. The play itself was 47 yards plus the 15, so a 62-yard pickup. And in the backfield running is Starks, and he's inside the 15 to the 13.
You're going to see the Wisconsin defense play a lot of man-to-man coverage, try and pack in the middle, force them to throw. They got caught in that big pass play there in man-to-man coverage. They brought their nickel package in and brought a offensive or defensive lineman around the corner who beat the offensive lineman but hit the quarterback late. And then because they're man-to-man coverage, they got crossed up, and the secondary for Wisconsin couldn't cover down.
2nd down and 6, and the ball just inside the 14-yard line of Wisconsin. Single back in the backfield. Paoli will give to Starks, and it is spread out, and there's nothing there. Monty takes a shot at the end, but no gain, maybe a loss of a yard. Nelly, last week Wisconsin gave up 3 touchdown passes. They had only given up 3 all year,
right,
and there was some concern. They did not have Langford in the lineup last week, but what did you see that would cause concern?
Well, you know, they didn't get real good pressure on Tate last week against Iowa. They started, you know, doing a few different things, and because you have Langford out there, it changes up your blitzing scheme. When you put Ben Strickland out of the corner, that's fine. He's a very solid player, but you can't lock down like they've been able to do all year long with Ike Iguana and Langford.
3-man defensive front for Wisconsin, 4 receivers for Buffalo. And pressure comes, and Monty had him. Now he got away. Cooper gets it. It was Shaughnessy, actually, the first pressure, and then Cooper wraps it up, and Buffalo will try a field goal, and this is no sure thing. They have struggled quite a bit in field goal kicking.
Mike, you're going to see this a lot today because of the speed of the outside backers and the defensive ends with Shaughnessy and Cooper, Casillas and Levy. They're going to be coming off the corners. Those tackles aren't very experienced. They're not very quick, and with the speed that D-line has, I look for a lot of that today.
Tunalski is the kicker. He's 5 for 5. He replaced Packwood early in the season as the kicker, and he does make it. Tunalski now a perfect 6 for 6 and drills that one in. It is 7-3 here. About just not quite 4 minutes into the game already. Let's check out the Big Ten. It is a big day, obviously, in Columbus, Ohio. And with that, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Michigan family who lost longtime head coach Bo Schembechler yesterday to a coronary problem. Bo Schembechler passed away yesterday morning on the eve of the biggest game perhaps in Michigan and Ohio State's well-chronicled rivalry. That is obviously played today, number 2 and number 1. Michigan State is at Penn State. Indiana traveling in-state to Purdue. Iowa is on the road at Minnesota, and Northwestern plays host to Illinois. You look at the standings, Wisconsin obviously already done, the only team done. This is their bye week on the Big Ten schedule with 11 teams. Somebody doesn't play every week, and this is Wisconsin's bye week. Everybody else is playing their final Big Ten game today. Wisconsin going to finish tied for 2nd in the league. Now, if it's with Michigan, the tiebreaker means essentially that Michigan is the 2nd place team in the league. Wisconsin going to be locked out of a BCS bowl, it appears, unless there's something dramatic that happened in the Michigan-Ohio State game. Wisconsin will likely accept a bid to the Capital One Bowl for the 2nd straight year.
Yeah, and obviously not a bad place to go. Anytime you get to a bowl game and you get that extra month to prepare, you get extra practice for your young guys, plus you get some good exposure for kids down in the Florida State that can see Wisconsin again and makes recruiting just a little bit easier. And when you mention the Capital One, that for all intents and purposes, that's where it looks like they're going, but they can't actually accept the bid until after the BCS announces all their games. So there's still a little time for things to play out.
Yeah, those bids come out, I believe, the first Sunday in December. So it's still a couple of weeks away before the BCS. It's the day after the SEC and Big 12 championship games.
Right.
And that's when the BCS bids will come out. But only 2 teams from a conference can play in the BCS Bowls. And that obviously appears to be Ohio State and Michigan, one of them playing in the national championship game and the other very likely in the Rose Bowl.
you know, the schedule for Wisconsin has played out very well for some of the teams in the middle of the season that they had to play. It's unfortunate that they couldn't play Michigan towards the tail end and have probably a little bit better game from start to finish with them because of the talent, the experience now that these young kids have.
They'll squib kick it, Buffalo does, and it will bounce and roll all the way down to the 15-yard line. Picked up by Jerry Butler. He'll get to the 21. Butler is a freshman playing for Wisconsin and returning that kick. Jerry Butler is from Philadelphia, a 5'9", 183-pound redshirt freshman who played against Minnesota earlier this year, had a couple of carries and a fumble. They really love him. He's one of the most athletic players on the roster, and Justin Doherty told me, the SID told me this morning, if he gets any kind of a seam, he's one of the fastest guys on the team.
Yeah, he's definitely explosive and exciting to watch, and they see that in practice, and now he's just got to translate from that field out to the playing field.
Donovan hands off to P.J. Hill, who will get the 22. Let's check out Wisconsin's offense. That offensive line remains intact from where it started, but we'll start in the backfield. Tyler Donovan is in at quarterback, his second career start. Hill, the leading freshman ball carrier in the country. Beckham, the leading tight end receiver in the nation, is having an outstanding season. Luke Swan had, what more do you need to say about him for his week he had last week against Iowa? Joe Thomas, the senior, anchors the left side of the offensive line in his final game at Camp Randall. 2nd down and 7. And Hill will get the 39. He's taken down on the outside, setting the Buffalo Bulls defense up front. Judges, Hilaire, Thompson, and Scott. The linebackers are Irvin, Bablavi, and Byram. Irvin is their second leading tackler. Bablavi has 93 tackles to lead the way, and the secondary is anchored in the middle by Imes and Newton. It is 3rd and 7. Donovan. Left side, Xavier Harris makes one miss, but not another. And the Badgers will go 3 and out on the second possession. And with a 7-3 lead, they'll punt.
A couple good plays back-to-back there for Buffalo. Bablavi, who's only 195 pounds playing linebacker, makes a big-time play. And then this time they play zone coverage. They allow the catch in front of them, and then you see a swarm of tacklers come up there, just like you're taught. They make sure that they don't get the first down, and obviously a punting situation.
5th catch of the year for Xavier Harris. Only nets a yard, and DeBush punts end over end to the far sideline and out of bounds. Not a very good effort by DeBush. Buffalo will start with excellent field position at their own 40. There is a flag back upfield. The flag sits at the 32-yard line. We'll see what the call is.
You know, you see Coach Bielema down there. He's been working the officials all year long.
Holding. Number 46 on the receiving team. Penalty will be assessed from the end of the kick, post-scrimmage kick. 1st down, Buffalo.
And he's been out there. You saw him last week against Iowa a couple times. He's been out there. He's always trying to work an angle, get a proper explanation, and then state his case. And he's getting better and better at that as the season progressed.
Well, and I think what he wants to know is if they were holding against Ben Strickland, who was the gunner on the near sideline, was it hold before the ball was kicked? You know, is it a pre-change of possession foul or not?
Right.
And evidently it's not. So they'll back Buffalo up, and they will now start at their own 30. So a significant change in field position. You know, 10 yards there is rather significant. And Wisconsin will come out defensively and see if they can't get a stop, because the last time Buffalo had the big play and moved it down the field.
Yeah, and they're bringing in the same personnel which forces Wisconsin into their nickel package, and they go doubles on both sides to really spread out the open part of that field right down the middle. Hampton,
Rogers, and Stelmacher all on the field as safeties. So the nickel back situation. Paoli back to pass, got hit as he threw, and then Zalewski had good coverage. Underneath, it's incomplete.
That's again, you see Levy coming off the corner, running a blitz, but because of his speed, those tackles can't drop deep enough to cover down on him. Really forces a strain on that tackle on the left side there, number 77, Jordan Gerald. And it's going to be a battle all day long for those two tight ends, or two ends that way on the tackle position.
2nd down and 10. at the 30. I backfield. On the delay, Paoli gives it into the backfield to stumble. Ball's loose. Wisconsin has it. Second Buffalo turnover in the early going, and those will kill you.
Joe Stellmacher, senior, putting a stamp on the game right here. His last game in Camp Randall, be in the right place at the right time, but tremendous pressure up front. Those D linemen getting in the gaps and those linebackers flowing to the seams and not allowing any penetration downfield. Strips the ball, and Stellmacher's in perfect position to scoop it up.
See if we can see where the ball comes out. Not much of a hit. That's just a fumble on Starks, and that's his deal. And Stellmacher comes up with it, but that's what teams that struggle have those kind of turnovers and can't afford them. So 2 early game turnovers for Buffalo. That's Hill up the middle, spins off of 1 tackle, but lucky to get 2 on the play.
Lucky to get 2, and then again, number 58, Jeff Bublavi, he's again not very big, but he's agile. He gets there. He's really emerged as a leader on this defense. They looked to him to make some big plays. He's got great vision, and when he decides to go, he can get off the blocks, and he's good. Solid tackler, wrapping up, get low into P.J. Hill, which a lot of people have struggled with this year.
Well, P.J. has run into a little trouble late. He's not had his best performances most recently. Donovan rolls and now will run. Holds on to the ball and gets the boundary at the 23, dragged down inbounds. Clock continues to run. It will bring up a 3rd and 7 of the Badgers. Since that very first play, the touchdown pass to Hubbard, have struggled offensively.
Yeah, well, you've never really seen Wisconsin come out and do what they did in the first 3 plays of the game. A kick, an interception, and a touchdown. They're more, you know what, we want to get into the game, we want to establish the rhythm, and then we're going to grind it out. And now you're starting to see that establishment on the front 7 there really pound down on this defensive lineman, but they've got to get more than 2-3 yards a crack, or it's going to be 3rd and long all day long.
Donovan, 2 of 2. This is a design quarterback draw. Not designed well enough this time. Buffalo comes up the middle and into the backfield to make the tackle is Chris Callahan, a sophomore, and Wisconsin will be forced to settle for a long field goal attempt.
Number 91 also helps slip there. James Judges gets in there and helps out with it. He split a double team, which a lot of times, as sound as this offensive line has been, you do not see. So they're obviously quick up front, throwing a few different formations at him and a few different stunts. Wisconsin's offensive line hasn't been able to capitalize.
44-yard field goal is not good. It hit the crossbar. Melhoff had it on line, but from 44 into a little bit of a breeze, Melhoff comes up just that much short.
And down in the south end zone,
Kick is
as
no
we
good.
watched.
Because it's beyond the 20-yard line, will be placed at the previous spot. First down, Buffalo.
As we watched in warm-ups, Mike, that's about the extent of what you're going to see somebody try and kick a field goal, especially with Wisconsin. But that's about where they were making them pre-game, but not much further than that. He got all of that one, but just not enough distance. Plenty of height, so it doesn't get blocked, but he's got to put a little bit more line drive into it. I think that goes through.
So Buffalo will take over at their own 27, and Wisconsin has not gotten it done on their last 2 offensive possessions. 3 and out on the first after the touchdown, and then another 3-play drive here after a turnover that doesn't lead to points on the missed 44-yard field goal. I mentioned earlier, where Wisconsin ranks in this week's Bowl Championship Series poll. It's the compilation poll of all the others, and you see Wisconsin down there at number 9 in the BCS, just mere percentage points behind West Virginia, and Ohio State and Michigan top it out. Yeah, I've talked this week at length on a radio show in Madison on the other teams in the BCS. Obviously, Ohio State or Michigan lose today. Southern Cal, Florida, Notre Dame, Rutgers, Arkansas, and West Virginia. While Rutgers and West Virginia play each other, Florida and Arkansas likely play each other in the SEC championship game, and Southern Cal plays host to Notre Dame. So of those that you see above Wisconsin, 4 of them are going to lose, guaranteed.
Yeah, and Southern Cal hosts California today as well, which is another huge matchup. So there's a lot of things that can shake out in the BCS and the final polls, AP and coaches poll, and obviously for Wisconsin, they need to take care of business here today like a lot of those top teams, but because those top 10 teams match up in 2 or 3 different games, you're going to see some shuffling around through the regular polls and then the final BCS standings.
Well, the way we had looked at it in discussing it throughout the week, Wisconsin can finish as high as 4th or 5th before they go to their bowl game.
Right.
And if they win that bowl game against a good SEC team, Wisconsin could be a team, when it's all said and done, that could be 3rd in the country, maybe 4th. If they win their games, I think they're no worse than 4th when it's all said and done. Paoli rolls to the right. No pressure at all. He'll decide to run it, and Newkirk slaps him down at the 33.
One thing for Wisconsin defense is they faced a fairly mobile quarterback like Paoli a few different times this year from Illinois, from Bowling Green. And they're used to that, but when they spread things out, you basically are left with Zalewski in the middle. Your outside backers have to go down and cover the number 2 receiver in. And when they run a route, Zalewski's got to track him. He was in position that time, but by the time he reacted and moved up, it's ahead of steam, and they get 7 yards on that play. It's a good offensive play call, but Zalewski's got to come downhill a little bit and cut that angle off so he doesn't get ahead of steam moving forward.
A pickup of 7, we'll call it. 2nd and 3. Motion in the backfield and spinning off a 1 tackler, but not more than that, is Starks.
Spinning off Zalewski, who's blocked by the tight end, Robert Yelu. Tries to grab on, but he continues to get blocked, and then Levy and Casillas come in and finish him off. So good penetration by Mark that time, and then his teammates in the back end there at the linebacking core finish him off once again.
Well, linebacker instincts, and then, studying film, he knows what's going on by linemen and tendencies, and Zalou just beat the offensive lineman to the hole.
Yeah, it's just recognition in the formation, and he got the job done. That's a sense in the linebacking core that you can't teach. It's just something innate with those guys.
3rd down, Paoli looks right side, well covered by Casillas, no flag, and it's 4th down. They'll have to punt for the first time.
And the coaching staff for Buffalo wanted the pass interference that time. They're right in the official's ear. As soon as that play was made, the thing that Casillas does on that is when he dives in front, he doesn't grab with his backside arm. He just reaches in front with his play side arm. So there's really probably a good no call by the official that play.
And then again, they may have had an argument. I mean, Casillas is on him. That's one where you can throw the flag or not throw the flag, and
it's
you
all
won't get
choice.
a ton of argument either way.
Yep.
Low line drive that's going to bounce in front of Hampton, and now Zach's going to let it go. He has had some hard times the back half of this season with some judgment on punt returns and when he can get up and field one and when he can't. That one, he let it go, and Brett talks to him quickly as he comes to the sideline and takes a great roll, 48-yard punt, and that's with a punter in Woods that just hasn't been very good this year, averaging 38 yards on 57 punts, but he got a good roll on that one.
And Hampton, a couple different times, you're right, Mike has decided to call his teammates off, then he goes after the ball. Once you call poison to get away from the football, you got to get away too, because you pick it up, you've got a lot of white jerseys coming right after you.
Wisconsin comes out power I, and they'll give it to Hill, second back through, dancing through the initial hole, gets the 25, and P.J. Hill picks up half of the yardage needed to get a first down.
Just a simple dive for P.J. Hill coming to the right side. They're a good protection up front by the offensive line, and he slips a tackle from the linebackers, tries to get to that 3rd level with the secondary, and as he does, some of the contain and pressure gets to him, but you see the shiftiness that he has. His vision is still very good. He's just got to get going and get in the groove, give him the ball a little bit more, and then you'll see him unleash as we did earlier in the season.
Andy Crooks is the up back. Hill gets it, makes one miss. Now to the open field and outside the 35 to the 38-yard line. That's a good run by P.J. Hill.
Good run again. Good blocking up front, blocking down by your tight end. Lead block by Crooks, and then Hill, using his vision, gets out in the open space, makes a miss, and then he's dancing around. He's always trying to move forward and getting those yards after contact.
P.J. Hill, a freshman, now is in the top 10 all-time in the nation for freshman rushing yardage. Off the left side, running behind Joe Thomas, who had kicked out to the outside. Hill cut it back inside, and he'll pick up 2, maybe 3.
You know, some of those names you mentioned in that list, Tony Dorsett, Herschel Walker, Ron Dane from Wisconsin, a lot of big names. running as freshmen, and P.J. Hill has put his mark on his career simply by doing that, and I think you're only going to see him get better and better over the next 3 years during his time playing for Wisconsin.
Well, he is 5th in all of college football in rushing yards this year, number 1 in the Big Ten. 1,447 yards coming in. Flag already thrown on play. Donovan to Beckham. Travis gets inside the 40, but a flag from the side judge, the line judge, and we'll see either an illegal formation or that Buffalo lined up in the neutral zone.
Offside. Defense number 89. Penalty is declined. First down.
That's Trevor Scott. He was lined up offsides, so the play stands, and Beckham's first catch of the day, good for 19 yards.
There you can see just his helmet just offside. He's got to look in down the line. It's a little bit harder for those guys to gauge when they don't have a mark, whether it's a hash or the 5-yard mark, but a good call by the official. And I think Buffalo's going to have a hard time covering Beckham today. He's a big target. Their tallest defensive back right now stands at 5'11".
51 catches in a season is the most ever by a tight end at Wisconsin. Donovan throws left side. That's Beckham again. Almost dropped it. Too wide open. And he'll get the 16-yard line. Another big play and absolutely wide open.
Yeah, he was. It was almost too easy of a throw and too easy of a catch for both Donovan and Beckham. But Beckham stands at 6'4", like we were just talking. He's there as he's turning in. A little bit underthrown. Donovan did that very well last week, underthrowing the ball when his receivers were covered. When he's rolling out that way, which is hard for a right-handed quarterback to roll left and throw, he's got to get a little bit more juice and allow him to hit it in stride. He can turn upfield along the sideline.
Ron, if you're going to miss on a wide-open receiver, miss him underneath. You know, at least he can come back to get it. It's 1st and 10, and in the red zone, Wisconsin at the 16. Donovan to the end zone looking for Hubbard, and he overshot him, and Swanee might have been open in the middle, and now Hubbard going to be slow to get up. Took a shot to the head after the ball was too high and uncatchable. Wisconsin in the red zone this year, 40 of 47 in scoring, better than 85%. 30 of those touchdowns.
As Hubbard comes in, it's a little bit too high. The quarterback is fine, but when they come down, he grabs onto the back of his helmet, and Hubbard had a concussion earlier in the season. And when that happens, there's many times where you get back on play, but you're still not quite right. The officials could have made a call on that particular play, but in their judgment, he was coming down with incidental contact.
There you see the 30 touchdowns in the red zone for Wisconsin this year. It is 2nd and 10. Hill. Make that Rowan gathers to the 11-yard line.
Taiwan Rowan has put in his time here. Wasn't sure if he was going to play football when he came to college. He comes in. He's a senior. He's done a lot of good things. He's kind of one of those players that's a fan favorite. Doesn't do anything fancy, but just does some solid work. Carries the football well, and he's always going north and south, which is what I like watching about him. He's not a nifty, shifty back. He just gets the job done and gains 5 yards in that play and keeps moving the chains. I hope he gets rewarded at some point today in the end zone to cap off his career.
Got 2 TDs on the season. Ball loose on the deck. And P.J. Hill, who fumbled twice last week, had to go back and get this, and Wisconsin again will settle for a field goal attempt.
First things first, PJ's got to get the football. It's a good pitch. It hits him in the hands. Right as it comes into his hands, he starts looking away. He's got a lot of green off the left side corner there to run, but you can't go anywhere without the football.
Brett, always coaching on the sideline, still talking to PJ. Field goal attempt from 35 yards, and Melhoff has it blocked. No good. And Buffalo is outplaying Wisconsin in opportunity situations. What I mean by that, now 2 consecutive trips into Buffalo territory in which you have to settle for field goal attempts. 1 missed and 1 blocked.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the first one was really Melhoff. It was just at the very end of his length or his distance that he can hit the crossbar. This time wasn't his fault, and then he's got to get the football, but he's got to have protection from his front line there in order to get the kickoff.
2 blocked punts, 2 blocked extra points, and now 2 blocked field goals on the season for Buffalo. It started gloriously, but at the end of 1 quarter, we've got a football game. Wisconsin 7, Buffalo 3. This is Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television.
Presentation of Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television is made possible in part by Goodman's Jewelers. John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers, proud of the tradition started by Robert and Irwin Goodman. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. The Mendota Gridiron Club, the official fundraising organization for University of Wisconsin football. University Athletic Department, with official information about Badger athletics on the web. The Wisconsin Alumni Association, connecting, enriching, and serving UW-Madison alumni and friends for more than 140 years. UWalumni.com. And by the Badger Fund, the Wisconsin Athletic Department's annual fundraising program, 14,000 donors, supporting 750 Badger student athletes.
And back at Camp Randall Stadium for the start of the second quarter. It's not been a good first quarter for Wisconsin. It's a much closer game than many had expected. Badgers lead at 7-3. They scored on the game's third play, the opening kickoff. Buffalo then throws an interception. Wisconsin throws a touchdown. Since then, a couple of missed opportunities for Wisconsin, Scott Nelson, and you can't do that.
No, you can't do that. In a team like this, you've got to capitalize every single time, because then you just bury them early in the game, and then you can have some fun late in the second quarter, start of the first half. But they've really left 10 points on the field. The missed field goal, they hit the crossbar, and that last series, they should have had 6 points, and they get away with nothing.
P.J. Hill has carried 7 times for 21 yards. Tyler Donovan is 4 of 5 in the air for 69 yards. 2 of those throws to Travis Beckham, good for 42 yards, but Buffalo is right in this. Up the middle is Starks, who carries past the 25, or right at the 25 rather, a pickup of 5.
The Wisconsin defense, with the exception of the one completion that Paoli has, 47 yards that we saw in the first quarter, they've really shut him down. Starks has had minus yardage up until that particular play right there the entire game. So they're playing well. You just got to get the offense on track. Now, when you get turnovers, you get a fumble, an interception, they've got to come out and capitalize and give that defense a chance to rest on the sideline.
And you wonder about emotion. It's the 12th consecutive week that Wisconsin has played. This is kind of an afterthought after you've played 8 straight weeks in the Big Ten. Paoli throws left side, and he's got his man, but it drops. It's incomplete. He tried to hit Upshaw, the tight end, who momentarily had it, but Stellmacher was there on coverage, and the ball goes incomplete.
Stellmacher up over the top, playing man-to-man coverage over the top with the tight end, and he reads it, and as he breaks, he's coming forward. He's there late just a little bit. It was a good throw, probably made him stretch a little bit too much, but you're seeing some opportunity from Buffalo as well to make some plays, some big plays. Wisconsin's been lucky that they haven't capitalized themselves.
That's a big third down here, 3rd and 5. Wisconsin is good on third down, only allowing 30% of conversions on the season. And Buffalo moves early. Left offensive tackle stepped back. He's covered up by the tight end. He stepped back early. That is Ray Norrell.
False start. Number 77, offense.
I'm sorry.
5-yard penalty.
Jordan Girold,
third down.
True freshman, starting at left offensive tackle.
And that's where you see his situation. It's 3rd and 5, now moving back to 3rd and 10 because of the speed of the defensive ends and those outside backers. They're cheating a little bit because he knows if he can't get back there in time, his quarterback's going to get hit. So he starts leaning. Ball doesn't get snapped in time. He gets caught.
Well, and he's looking across the line at Jamal Cooper. Cooper, a speed rusher, is covered up by the tight end here. And around him he goes, and there goes Coop, got a piece, and it is almost intercepted, tipped by Upshaw to the hands of Zach Hampton, but at close proximity couldn't haul it in, and it is a 4th down.
There you see Girold, again, leaning just a little bit to try and get back to block Cooper. You see the speed of those defensive ends and those outside backers. They're going to have a long day trying to block those guys, and Tony Paoli's got to be ready for some contact.
Well, Hampton going to get a chance here. Zach has had a tough year returning punts, just averaging about 5 yards. Almost got a block. Johnny White nearly had a shot at it. Hampton at his own 40. Couple of juke moves. Everybody still coming at him, stays on his feet, and might have gotten a 2-yard return out of the whole deal to the 42 of Wisconsin.
And as a return man, when you know that it's a block down in the other end, you're going to have a lot of guys from the opposing team, in this case white jerseys, flying down at you because everybody tries to cross the line and they get a free release downfield. So he did all that he could do to get some positive yardage, but you're really exposed at that point. You got to be smart, either a fair catch or get upfield and get there in a hurry.
Well, you know, I talked just a bit earlier about emotion, and Nelly, that's the thing that comes into play here. Every other senior day that they've had for a long time has been a Big Ten game, and this is not. Hill up the middle, won't get much, maybe a yard. And Scott, there's something to that. I mean, emotion plays a part of these games.
Oh, absolutely. You know, if you look at this game and say next week they've got another Big Ten game, they stay focused because the conference does mean something, especially with the Big Ten and where they end up going as well as they've done all year. This game, you're right. The only thing that they have to play for right now is they've solidified second place. They're playing for this senior class right now, and that's what has to be the emotion. I'm sure that was a big point of emphasis from this coaching staff this week to make sure these young guys are ready to go.
It is 2nd and 9. Fake to Hill, and Donovan looks to throw. Steps up. Left side. Luke Swan to the 35.
Luke Swan's been solid all season long. One of the go-to guys that's emerged. Solid hands, very good running routes, very good at blocking downfield for the running backs, but it's a very simple play. Donovan's got all day. You see Joe Thomas blocking his guy. He's got a huge either hole to run through or very easy. You see him to locate his receivers, and Swan's open. As he catches, he turns upfield, he sees contact, just gets out of bounds, doesn't take a big hit out of the playbook.
33-yard line, Donovan, play action, now has Beckham open, throws to Travis, who dropped it at the 20-yard line. Ball was on the back hip on the throw from Donovan, but Beckham should make the catch.
He's got to make the catch. He's made a lot more difficult catches this season, and as good as his hands are, he's got to notice that the trouble that you get when the ball gets down by the hip is you're running, and many times the thigh comes up and it actually knocks it away from your hands, so you really take it out of yourself. But that one, that particular case, it's off the back hip. He's got to squeeze that and bring it in. I think he's worried about catching and getting upfield before he secures the football.
2nd down and 10. 13:01 to play. Second quarter. Badgers lead it 7-3. There's John Stocco, senior from Richfield, Minnesota. He is now to watch 2 consecutive games from the sideline because of injury. Xavier Harris on the catch, but doesn't get much to the 31, maybe 3 on the play.
That particular play, Xavier Harris has some tremendous speed, some good hands. They just run a quick dart route. All he does is take 2 steps forward. He jumps back. It's an easy throw out for Donovan, and then they pull out Joe Thomas to try and kick out the cornerback as he comes to block. The trouble is there's the corner, there's the outside backer, and there's an inside backer, and Joe can't handle all 3 guys.
Well, yeah, he can handle a lot, by the way. It's 3rd down now, and the Badgers convert on 43% of their 3rd down chances this year. Very good, but they're 0 for 3 today. Blitz comes. Badgers pick it up. Donovan has time, throws to Hubbard, but it's short of the marker. And it's 4th down at the 26, and Brett says we're going to go.
Big catch by Paul Hubbard again. Donovan threw behind him one more time, and that's some of the experience, the timing that Stocco had with these guys right from the beginning of camp. Donovan luckily got in there because Stocco was hurt during camp, but his timing is a little bit off. He's not as comfortable back in the pocket. He's more of an agile runner, thrower than what Stocco is as a pocket passer.
4th and 3, and on the season, Wisconsin on 4th down is 5 of 13, 38%. Here it is. Donovan gonna run for it, spinning, and he won't get it. Badgers come up short again in scoring territory, and it is Buffalo football, the turnover on downs.
3 drives in a row, Mike. I tell you, this Buffalo defense has done the little things right to make sure Wisconsin can't capitalize on 2 field goals, 1 blocked, 1 hit the crossbar, forcing them to stay out in the middle of the field where they don't have all the play calling that they want. Donovan has to run because it's great coverage downfield. Really amounts to a coverage sack by that secondary and a good pursuit by those inside backers and corners coming up the field.
Really think on that first move up the field, had he decided to take it north and south, he'd have had a chance to get it. On a keeper, direct snap goes to Starks. Now reversing his field, and to the far sideline, he'll get the 32-yard line, a pickup of about 7, a direct snap to the tailback.
Starks, who's a freshman running back, and then you look at Naaman Roosevelt, who was recruited as a quarterback playing wide receiver. So they've got some guys that are very versatile. Actually fakes a handoff to one of his teammates there, and then he starts running for his life. But on the cutback, because of the speed and the over pursuit of the Wisconsin defense, he's able to get 8 yards on that play.
Badgers have a 2-1 yards advantage in the game, but only a 7-3 lead. Up the middle, they go to Stephen King. Kind of scary there. He gets the 34.
Scary because Stephen King, you mean?
Yeah, you can take it however you'd like
right.
to, Nelly. I don't think this Stephen King has written any books. I mean, no Pet Cemetery or anything like that.
I just didn't know if you were trying to catch me off guard or what.
Always trying to can't get you, Nelly. Can't get you.
This is a big third down conversion. It gets this defense off the field. They've been tremendous, as you mentioned, only allowed 30% on the season.
Well, they're going to have to take a timeout. Couldn't get the play call.
Timeout.
Yep.
Buffalo.
Well, and this is the kind of opportunity. When you talk about emotion, Scott, here's a chance to regather some emotion. If you can back him up here and make a punt, then maybe you bring emotion back into the game.
Well,
You need emotion. You're up 7-3.
Absolutely. You got to have a big play, and the defense has produced a couple of them so far, but the offense, for whatever reason, with the exception of that first drive, hasn't been able to get points. They've gotten on track as far as moving the football. Then they get to a third down situation. They've stalled. They're doing just enough themselves to allow this Buffalo football team to stay in the mix here. And Coach Turner Gill is the guy that recognizes this. A third down and short can go a long ways as far as the momentum and the excitement for his football team playing in Camp Randall here today.
That's the that you see on the screen there is members of the 1966 Wisconsin Badger football team. 40 years ago they played here, 40th reunion. Tony Canoni there. You see Tony on the field all the time in every game. He has really become one of the chief lead booster types for the Badger football program. Always traveling, always on the sideline. 40 years ago, they were the last team that played for Milt Broom.
It's good to see those guys out here. They're very proud of wearing their letter jackets, having a reunion with teammates that they may not have seen in the last 40 years as guys part ways and establish their careers. But, you mentioned Tony in the middle there. He's a hard guy to miss. The whole head of white hair on the sideline.
White head. And that's it's neat to see that 66 team 40 years later out on the field. And there's a lot of brotherhood, camaraderie. And I mean, that's what all athletes say when they leave the game. What they miss the most are their teammates and the players and the camaraderie, the locker room stuff that goes on. And you're part of that here, and you guys all stay close, Scott.
Yeah, that's the fun stuff. You might not see somebody for 5-6 years, and you come back, it's like you just left the locker room, just had your last practice, and the difference is you're not sharing the stories of college and that sort of thing. Now it's sharing stories about your married life or your children or your career or whatever, and it's just a different phase, but that tie together, that bond will never disappear.
I'll tell you that Monday night, coming up on November the 20th, the University of Wisconsin plays host to UW-Milwaukee at the Kohl Center, and our broadcast coverage is at 11 o'clock with Ken Syke and Dawn Krim as the Badgers host the Panthers. On that 3rd and 1, fumbled snap turns into a first down from Paoli as he picked up the loose ball on the turf and then rumbles forward for a pickup of 3. And on the 3rd and very short, Buffalo converts.
Sometimes the busted plays are the best plays because the defense isn't quite sure how to react or where to cover. They go after the football. If you're lucky enough to get it, it creates a lot of open seams for you to go through.
Well, they've really had no offense to speak of outside of one play, a 47-yard pass completion with a 15-yard penalty tagged on to the end. That's been their offense, as Paoli is 1 of 7 for 47 yards, that completion. And they've rushed the ball. Starks now is 6 for 12. Paoli 3 for a -9, and Stephen King 1 for 1.
The defense for Wisconsin has played very sound. They're putting them in predictable situations, 2nd and long and 3rd and long. The times they get in trouble is they don't get the pressure to the quarterback, or they create a seam to run through it, and that allows the Buffalo offense to continue to drive down the field. This is a particular play load. They've got to get the job done. Put them in 3rd and long.
And Paoli looks to throw bubble screen again. Levy came up and decked the wide receiver. Ball is incomplete.
I tell you, Mike, that's one that I think when Levy watches on tape tomorrow of, boy, am I close to an interception? I know I got a kill shot, and as he's coming up, he reads it perfectly. His man-to-man coverage stepping up there, just lowers his shoulder. I think if he looks inside as he's running forward, sticks out his hands, he gets a pick.
I don't think it's as big a hit as it initially appeared. He kind of chested him. Well, now it's a 3rd down and 7 inside of 9 minutes first half. Badgers lead at 7-3 and a chance for a big play here. Paoli has time, comes near side. There's a flag in the backfield. He was thrown to the near sideline, and it's incomplete.
Not sure what the flag on that was. Holding.
It's holding against Buffalo, and we'll see if they're going to decline it, so Buffalo will be forced to punt.
Number 77 offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Again, Jordan Giroux there, the left tackle, the true freshman we talked about. Holding again, he's either leaning, he's trying to get off on his blocks, but as he goes down, he gets bull rushed over, and he just grabs on, brings his guy down.
It's a good play. It's a smart. I mean, otherwise he's letting his quarterback up there from the blind side.
Right.
Badgers see if they set up for another punt block. They were very close the last time in. Setting up a return. Hampton, it waves everybody off. Bad punt. Rolls and bounces inside the 30 all the way down to the 25 and the 24.
A little better punt than it originally looked like, but that time Hampton does the right thing. He's coming up, and as he determines to call the guys off, he gets away himself, unlike the last time where he was trying to debate, do I go get it? But he got the job done that time, allows his offense to line up and start playing from the 25.
Nelly, how much merit is there to the discussion here in a 7-3 game, a lot closer than people expect, to having played for 12 consecutive weeks and then kind of taking the emotion out when you're playing out of conference against a team that is very unheralded in the final game?
Well, you know, the 12th game, I kind of like. A lot of teams are doing that. The Wisconsin, who's played 12 games before, has always gone to Hawaii to do that. So there's some motivations, like an extra bowl game and trip for you. The great thing about this one today is it's back at your home field. Camp Randall and the seniors get to play out here, but this is a difficult one. And almost you get the feeling with watching the crowd and the excitement around the stadium. It's not like a normal Big Ten game where it almost feels like somewhat of a scrimmage or just one of those preseason games where it just doesn't feel like it means a whole heck of a lot.
Well, there was a lot invested into that Iowa game a week ago, and coming away from Iowa City with a win to secure second place and to secure a 7-win Big Ten season, 10 wins overall, chance to win their 11th,
right,
which has only been done once in Wisconsin history, though they won 11 games. That was 1998, and that included the Rose Bowl
Correct.
win. Wisconsin will have one more chance. If they win today, they have a chance to get 12 wins for the first time in program history.
And that's pretty exciting when people pick, maybe 6th at best, all the way down to probably 9th or 10th preseason in the Big Ten Conference, and what Coach Bielema and his staff have done, and the excitement that these young men have generated, and the building blocks that this senior class has helped in Coach Bielema's career. Now, I think a lot of the foundation was already there, and he's just carrying on what Barry Alvarez started. But when you want to put your own stamp on a program, what a great way to start. What a great springboard for recruiting and heading into the bowl season.
Well, we talked a lot throughout the season of what the story of this team is. I think one of the stories is the guy that's on the sideline today, John Stocco. After 35 consecutive starts, he missed the Iowa game, and Donovan became the story. But John Stocco, to me, is the story of this team this season. Without a receiver coming back that had ever caught a ball in college football, you had a fifth-year senior at quarterback with 8 new starters on offense. There's Donovan to Hubbard on the near sideline. Good. Out to the 42, a pickup of 16. But Stocco, to me, is still the story. He had to do it with unheralded people around him, and he was rock solid from beginning to end. And it's unfortunate that he doesn't get to finish the season on this turf, coming out as the starting quarterback because of injury.
Yeah, his last Big Ten game, his last regular season game. He's a guy, I think you hit the nail on the head, Mike. He's a guy that came in and people looked for leadership. He took that role, and he brought the young guys along, gave them confidence, did some short passes, some very good things that way that built this team to where it is today.
Luke Swan on the catch. They'll rule him out of bounds.
That's a different rule where if they catch it and you get knocked out of bounds in the pros, you get a chance to come down. It's a completed pass. On this particular play, you've got to still get your foot in. 1 foot in college, but you still have to get it down as you get knocked down.
Nice concentration and effort by Swanee to hold on. In the NFL, that's a catch. By the way, just to Scott just explained to you, because they would rule the receiver forced out by contact, but that rule does not apply in college.
Correct.
2nd and 10. Donovan under pressure, tried to spin away. Now goes down. Ball came out.
Right next to Big Joe.
Yeah, Joe fall on it. You bet he did.
Donovan trying to spread out of the grass with a couple of the defensive linemen there getting pressure on him. He's had great protection all day today with the exception of that play. He's just got to recognize that when the pocket starts to collapse, step up, buy a little more time, and when you step up, many times you see a seam to run through, and as good as he is in the last couple of games throwing the football, his legs are even that much better.
By the way, the backup today, even though John Stalker was on the field and in uniform, the backup is Dustin Shear as the quarterback. 3rd down and very long, 3rd and 20, trying to set up a screen. It's a Hill, nobody blocked it. Nobody blocked the linebacker who comes through and makes the tackle. That's Buglavi again. The Badgers actually had it very well set up, and nobody took him.
And Andy Kemp, who's the guard that's pulling out there, the left guard to go block, is at a disadvantage because he's not sure where the running back is. You try and run the same type of route each time from your running back, so you get behind your lineman, and the defensive player there has a perfect view on PJ getting through there, and Andy has no chance to block him.
Yeah, as a defensive back, Nelly, you've been in that position. If your eyes are upfield, you'll have a chance to get through, even if there's 2 or 3 blockers there. Punt is returned, and making a couple men miss. I'll tell you, this kid Roosevelt is an outstanding returner. 46-yard punt. And Johnny White, the senior, gets in on the tackle. Johnny White, good article in the Wisconsin State Journal on White this week. Twice in his career went into camp as the starting safety.
Right.
Neither time was able to hold the job, finishing his senior year here, all on special teams plays. A year ago, he stepped into the lineup against Michigan when Stellmacher got hurt and had a big interception in the game, recovered a huge fumble, but he has never come into the office to complain this year about not starting. He loves his role, and he's embraced a senior season in which I'm sure he hoped he'd be on the field more often than he is.
And those, we talk about the relationships and stuff that you build when you're a player out here. His relationship with Joe Stellmacher, they would go to battle for each other no matter what. And he's backing up a guy that's had a tremendous career. Started out a little shaky because of some injuries, but Joe has done a tremendous job coming in. But you're right, Johnny White is the epitome of the type of player you want. Very talented, could go to other teams and definitely play, but he wants to be here. He's enjoying, obviously, a tremendous season, and he's not complaining about it because he still gets a chance to produce on special teams like he just did there. And when his number is called, you can be rest assured that he's ready to go.
How much are these guys looking forward to, once this day is over, hopefully Wisconsin begins at some point here to pull away and separate themselves from the competition.
Right.
But how much are they looking forward to some downtime?
Well, I think a lot of it really is I can gather myself for school, I can prepare for finals, because this is the time of the year where it does start to drag for school and for football. You get a chance to break away. You don't have coaches harping on you every single day. You get in the weight room a little bit and build yourself back up, work out some of that lactic acid and the tiredness that you have in your knees and your elbows, and you just rest, give your body a chance to respond now. And then when you get into December, you go through your finals, then you've got about a week and a half or 2 where it's strictly football. But you're recharged, ready to go, much like you came into fall camp in August, all ready to go, all rested, all healthy, ready to play another football.
See the last 5 drives for Buffalo, a field goal, -4 and a fumble, and then 3 and out, and then a first down, and forced to punt on the second set of plays there. So Badger defense has done its job, but the offense has failed to capitalize. It's a 7-3 Wisconsin lead. Keep in mind, they scored less than 30 seconds into the game, the Badgers did. Paoli to the left sideline, and it hits the ground and complete. Good pressure on the outside. Nick Hayden put pressure on Paoli.
Running a couple different stunts there, both with Levy and Zalewski coming in through the middle, so they've got some pressure. Casillas getting in there, and what they do is they throw to the outside. You see Shaughnessy, because of the stunt they're running, he's got responsibility for the flat. Even though he's a defensive end and he's in the 3-point stance, he's still quick enough and versatile enough to get out there and cover And if that was caught, I'm sure he would have made the tackle out of bounds.
2nd down and 10. Paoli just 1 of 10 in the air. Blitz comes. Gets it off before Levy got there. It's complete on the outside of King. But King gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Actually, they'll call it a loss of 2.
Jack Agaguano coming up. Another unassisted tackle, but very good position. Recognizing what they're trying to do as he flows in. He sees the receiver jump to the outside. He beats any blocker up to the point of attack. Then he takes him down, going low into the legs.
3rd and 12 is the play forthcoming. 1 of 5 on 3rd down today is Buffalo. Averaging just 3 yards a play on the day so far as Buffalo. So Wisconsin's defense has been ready. And the shovel pass inside. They'll get a gain of about 5 on the play, but it'll bring up 4th and 7.
And when you look at DeAndre Levy, number 11, coming in again on a blitz, he's got the guy that he thinks is going to block him go right by him. And he recognizes something. The quarterback pitches real quick to the front. He's not able to recover, but you see these guys are very, very well coached because they go upfield, they recognize something, and they can adjust, and they're fast enough to do it. And then the rest of the guys just play sound fundamentals behind them, and they make some tackles, and they don't allow a first down.
High snap and a short wobbler that will bounce at the 45. And near, did it hit Conkle? It might have. And if it did, Buffalo's got the football, and they do. So the short punt bounces back, and it hits into the back of the legs of Tyler Holland. Tyler Holland got hit by it, and it's Buffalo football.
And Tyler Holland hasn't been out there getting a chance to play again during the senior game here. But I tell you, he's got to listen back there. He's trying to block, but he's got to hear Hampton. Hampton's got to keep going to him to say, get away, get away. Hampton recognizes he's not listening or he can't hear him, so he tries to jump upfield knowing it's going to hit him. He's getting there too late. But those are the things in practice you have to tune in to the guy returning the football.
Ball's at the 46-yard line of Wisconsin. Buffalo has it. See if they try for a quick strike. Play action fake, bump into each other. Wants to throw deep over the middle. Has a man, and it's complete to Roosevelt. Down to the 3-yard line.
Ben Strickland on the coverage, number 3, filling in for Langford again. He did very well against Iowa last week, but there you see the difference between Strickland and Langford. Langford has the speed to recover and get downfield and tuck himself on the hip. And then Strickland doesn't have the help coming from Rogers at the safety inside. He gets there late. Perfect throw. A very, very good route and a great catch. Put him at 1st and 3. I'll tell you what, this defense, as well as they've done, they've got to rise up right now.
Roosevelt now with 2 catches on the day, good for 90 yards. 1st and goal, ball's at the 3. Second back through, hitting the backfield. No gain, 2nd down. That was King.
King moving forward. Casillas ends up bringing him down, but Zalewski from his linebacking position reads it. It's a dive lead. He beats the blocker and is at the first point of attack, knocks him back, and that allows his other teammates to come out and help. Zalewski steps up hard. You see him knock him back right there. He's not able to make the tackle because he gets blocked, but his other guys, his teammates, come to his rescue.
2nd and goal, ball at the 3-yard line. Paoli pitches. Nothing there. Spinning off 1, loss of about 5. Zalewski got him. Levy got in there. Casillas.
Nick Hayden coming in there. Some big bodies flying around, but Zalewski once again makes that play, making the most of his senior game right here. He's excited. They make him run east and west. And anytime you can do that on a pitch, it's very, very difficult to block. But you see a lot of red jerseys, and the reason you see them is they're staying square with their shoulders. They're not allowing to be blocked easy. Watch for some play action right here now because they went run and run. They haven't been able to get anything. So because Zalewski's playing downhill fast, watch him to get caught up in some play action for a pass route.
3rd and goal. Crowd gets into a ball. Rests at the 8-yard line. Timeout. As Buffalo didn't get the play called in time. Crowd got a little loud.
Timeout. Buffalo. Their 2nd and a half.
It's Turner Gill. An outstanding career as a running quarterback at Nebraska. And then on their staff for a number of years as an assistant coach, part of, I believe, 3 national championships while at Nebraska. Got a taste of the NFL a year ago as one of the staff for the Green Bay Packers.
Right. He's used to playing in a little colder weather, not only here with Green Bay, but Buffalo is obviously not the warmest place in the world to play either, and had a lot of snow a couple weeks ago and had to actually reschedule a game. But you know, he's coming into this environment as a coach, drawing on his experience from a player and going against some big teams, some ranked teams, and he's not going to have this team afraid to go against anybody. And you can see from there, Buffalo has really played some solid programs throughout the history of their program, and this year alone, at Auburn, at Boston College, both losses, but they'll play anybody, anywhere, especially with him as a head coach.
Well, and let's not fool anybody. This is a big payday for Buffalo, too.
That's true.
Well, one of the reasons that we're on a schedule, there's some money involved here. It's third down at goal. The ball's at the 8. Paoli looks to throw. Incomplete. Ball tipped a couple of times. Two receivers in the area.
Yeah, Zalewski reads the quarterback's eyes, makes a great break, and dives in front of the football. Tips it once. I think it goes off the receiver, and then it goes right to the secondary for Wisconsin, who probably wasn't expecting that to drop back there. And I think that's Stellmacher. Yep, hits him right in the shoulder. Zalewski and then Stellmacher. But 3 plays in a row, Zalewski stepped up, and that's the reason he's an All-Big Ten candidate. Probably an All-American candidate, one of the top guys, and is especially a captain for this Wisconsin football team.
Field goal attempt, short one, 25 yards from Tunalski, who's perfect, 6 of 6 this year from the right hash. And it is no good. For the first time, he misses. And Wisconsin dodges a bullet after the long pass to Roosevelt all the way down to the 3. They fail on 3 plays and then miss the field goal.
I think that's a trademark of this Wisconsin defense all season long. They've given up some plays. They've given up really big plays, but they come back and they line up and play again, and they're able to throw that out. They don't worry about that the next time, and they line up and play 3 big plays in a row. They get a little pressure up front and force the kicker to miss the football, or miss the field goal there for him. And obviously his frustration starts to set in.
Wisconsin.
Well, by the way, now that was a shank, and you played golf, so you know what that is.
What makes you think that?
I have not seen it, but I've heard stories about, some shanked wedges or off the tee. It's always safe to stand behind you.
I'm a summer golfer. The summer here and summer there.
Yeah, summer. Yeah. And that was a miss by Tunalski. That was a shank.
And that's frustrating.
Wisconsin, here we go. 2:29 to play in the first half. And the defense has, and usually, if you're a good defense, if you play with a bit of emotion, you can overcome situations. Right now, it's the offense for Wisconsin that hasn't found any rhythm. And it gets a little scary the deeper you go into this ball game when you're favored by 38 points and you've got a 4-point lead with 2.5 to play in the first half.
Well, again, they've left at least 10 points, if not 17 points on the field because they haven't capitalized. But you're right, the defense is all emotion. You can get away with a lot of things, especially when you have better personnel than the offensive team you're playing against. And I would bet anybody right now, if you look at Wisconsin's team on offense versus the Buffalo defense, you'd think the same thing. But this defense for Buffalo has come at them. They're playing aggressive. They're excited, and they've been able to shut the offense down and not allow points.
It may have been why Wisconsin took a timeout there. Put a little charge into the players. Beckham on the near sideline. When all else fails, go to Travis Beckham.
Well, again, he's 6'4", going against guys that are at best 5'11". So he's a big target, very good hands. And the thing that I like about that play call is it gives some confidence to Donovan. It's really just a single-man route. It's the only route that he's looking at the entire play, and he's wide open because it's man-to-man coverage. Beckham tucks the guy on his backside, doesn't allow him to come through, and it's a perfect throw from Donovan.
You see all the honors and the accolades coming Travis Beckham's way. A year ago, he was a defensive end and linebacker. Donovan, again, with all day to throw. Throws it towards Luke Swan. It's incomplete on his back shoulder. There was 3 defenders in the area. Donovan had checked everybody off and then decided to throw, and maybe that's one of those times when a running quarterback should run.
Yeah, and he does have protection. Joe Thomas is sealing off his guy's huge pocket. If he looks left, there's nobody there except P.J. Hill and one guy to block him. But when he does throw, he puts it in the only spot that Luke Swan can catch it. That's behind everybody. Swan just can't plant his feet and come back and get it. But you're right. If he peeks left, he's got a lot of green in front of him.
2nd and 10, 2:17 to play in the half. Donovan again to throw. Deep right side, missed everybody. He's high to the mark. He was throwing in the direction of Luke Swan. Hubbard was also deep in the area, but that's just a miss.
Miscommunication. I think he's looking at Swan doing an out route, and what he read is the corner coming over the top of Hubbard. I think he expected Hubbard to break it back out from a post corner route. Hubbard kept coming in, and luckily there wasn't anybody there for the Buffalo defense, but just a little miscommunication again. That's some of the experience that man right there, John Stockel, brings that Donovan is gaining in his last 2 games. So he's not quite there, but he's definitely showing some very, very good vision, very good leadership skills at quarterback.
3rd down here, 3rd and 10. Well protected. Deep middle. Beckham. Look out here. Travis to the 20, 10, and out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
Crossing route from Travis Beckham. Donovan finding his big target again. Throws it on a strike right to Beckham. Hits him in the hands, and he's off to the races for a 63-yard completion. But first, breaking tackles, and then Swan coming back to give him the stride down there. I tell you, the coaching point that's going to happen,
Ball
tuck
security?
the football away.
Well, you don't like that ball security?
Well, I don't mind it like that so much. But when he gets down there, he knows he's going to get hit. I think he's looking, if I'm going to dive, I got to stick it out over the top.
Timeout.
And he doesn't do that.
Buffalo.
Loaf of bread.
The 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Carried that loaf of bread on a 63-yard catch and run.
You know, and you don't think it's that big of a deal, but as you're running as hard as he is, he's obviously very fast as a tight end. It's very simple. If he tries to make a cut, doesn't cut or tuck the football as he cuts, that leg comes up and he knocks it out of his own hand and it's fumble. That's why they teach you so many times, tuck the football away. You can run just as fast with it on your chest as you can carrying it out like that. But what a perfect throw, and then able to break some tackles, and then he's off to the races. I know he was looking for the end zone, but what a great play. Big momentum builder for this offense that struggled.
Mike Newton made the tackle. They'll mark it just inside the 4-yard line. So it is a 62-yard pass and catch for Travis Beckham now. 4 catches, 119 yards. And Tyler Donovan has to do it all in the air with Beckham's help here in the first half. 11 of 16 for 197 yards is Tyler Donovan. And we're not to the half. It's cold enough. We want to talk about hockey. Badger Hockey Showdown at Michigan State coming to the Kohl Center Saturday, November the 25th. Shake off a little Thanksgiving dinner. And then on Saturday night, it is Badger Hockey, and our broadcast on Wisconsin Public Television starts at 10:30. First and goal at the 4. Pitch it near side. Hill cuts back, spins, gets the 3.
Good initial blocking up front there by the offensive line, but very, very good pursuit by the linebackers and the secondary for Buffalo to come across. Make sure PJ doesn't have anywhere to run.
And Wisconsin, will have an injury timeout. Buffalo player down on the field.
I think it's number 6, Alice Irvin, inside linebacker, one of the guys that was in on that play. So when you see a guy down like that, you don't like it, but you know the hits are going down there are big time, and sometimes you get rolled up with a lot of big bodies in there.
There's number 6, Irvin. Yeah, right leg gets strapped underneath that little pile.
Yep. Never like to see that, but the medical staff comes out. They take care of their guys. They know their players. They're very well schooled on what to do, and you hate to see a guy like that that's had a promising career up to this point go down. But it's interesting when you watch that last play from Travis Beckham going down the field. It's hard to believe that from a tight end who's produced obviously tremendously this year, that's the longest play from scrimmage for Wisconsin on the season. 62 yards right there.
Big numbers, and again, it was a good patience by Tyler to wait for Beckham to clear underneath. And you've got to wrap up Travis Beckham. Yeah, you can't hit him and knock him down. You've got to tackle him.
And I think as tall and as lanky as he looks, I think defensive backs say, you know what, if I hit him, he's not that big, he's not that strong, but you know what, Travis is incredibly strong. He's very, very well balanced with a low center of gravity, even being 6'4". You hit him at the hips, he just bounces off of you. You're right, you got to grab cloth and get into his feet.
Badgers have scored, as you see there, in the final 2 minutes of the first half in 8 of the 11 games. That's a big number. You can score late in the half. You take some of that Mo into the locker room. And that's P.J. Hill going to take Mo into the end zone. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Good for P.J. Hill, gets rewarded. He's run a couple times in the first and second quarter, done some very, very good things. And then the other thing, Bill Rentmeester back, who hasn't been in the backfield very much because of an injury, gets out there and lead blocks for P.J., comes off the left side. Very good initial step by the offensive lineman, their tight end, and then Rentmeester leads up. P.J. recognizes I can get outside with his speed, and he scores 6 for the Badgers, which is huge, as you said, heading into halftime.
16th touchdown on the season for P.J. Hill. Extra point is good. 15 of those touchdowns on the ground, 1 in the air, 16 times into the end zone this year for redshirt freshman P.J. Hill.
What a delight he's been watching all season long. His growth, his vision, his blocking, his understanding of his role within the offense, and the trust that the coaching staff has to continue to give him the ball. He's got 10 carries in the first half, only for 25 yards, but a big play right there. And again, great blocking up front, and it was all set up for the play before. The coaches see what they saw in the first play. He got tackled, go at him again, because the one guy that made the play was out of the game. You got somebody new who's not used to seeing those things coming that quick and that fast at him.
6 plays and 80 yards on the drive, a minute 13 off the clock, and with 1:24 to play in the first half, Wisconsin leads 14-3.
See if they can pin him deep here, force him to go a long ways with no timeouts. Minute 24, as you said. Melhoff, though, has kicked the ball in the end zone many, many times, and 80 yards to go is a long ways in a short amount of time.
Melhoff on the season now, 40 of 68 kicks have been touchbacks. This one they'll bring out, 1 yard deep. And to the near sideline, look out. Melhoff missed the tackle, and he's got a chance to go. All the way inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. Naaman Roosevelt can play.
He's got 21 returns and kickoffs, 541 yards. He's averaging 25, close to 26 yards. He's a yard deep in the end zone. He comes out, and I tell you, simple move right there. He gets the wall set up, and then he's off to the races. Melhoff tries to make a tackle, gets down the sideline, and then a great
Stepped out
job.
of bounds, by the way.
He did right there.
They should look at that, and everything's reviewed. This one should come back because
right about the 45 there.
That cut back,
50-yard
and they're
line.
going to look at it. They did now whistle it. Well, Wisconsin takes a timeout. We'll see that again, and when we see it, they really should review this.
Yep, that's what they're going to say
Timeout
right
on the
here.
field. There's a coach's challenge that the runner stepped out of bounds.
And he did.
They're going to gain probably close to about 10 yards on that, because you're right, Mike. He did step out just about around the 50-yard line or so.
You'll see it here.
His
The
right
last
foot.
step with the right foot, not there, but right there.
Yep. Just about the 49-yard line. So they're actually going to gain about close to 15 yards.
That looks to be out of bounds at the 49. Yeah, that's a big change, Scott. I mean, that take it back out near the midfield stripe.
Really forces, a couple of good plays. And you obviously need a couple first downs to get in field goal range. And as shaky as he was on that last one where he shanked it, you can rest assured when he's got to kick 40 to 45 yards, it's going to be a lot more difficult for him. But, is it going to be indisputable? That's the whole thing that it has to be.
The high camera angle, the last one you saw, is not the one that they can turn it on. They might be able to turn it on the end zone camera angle that they'll look at. That one might be the one that is significant enough to change it. And the replay official in college football is an official that's right next to our vantage point. It is not reviewed by the referee. It is reviewed in the booth, in a monitor in the next booth over from us.
Right.
And that's the decision that's made, is up there. Right there. Yep, that's it. There it is.
That would be him. And it's interesting. Coach Bielema has challenged almost every single game so far this season. He's not afraid to do that.
There's
He's trying to give.
indisputable video evidence that the runner stepped out of bounds at the Buffalo 49-yard line.
That'd be the Wisconsin 49-yard line. Steve Newman going to get back on the headset. Where was it?
I think he's checking the time on the clock. Probably about another 5 or 6 seconds ran off the clock once the point he stepped out of bounds. So they're doing the right thing. He's getting the ball in position right and then the right time on the
timer,
clock.
please put 1:11 on the clock.
It is still a 51-yard return for Roosevelt, who's been the lone thorn in the Badgers' side today. Roosevelt has 2 catches for 90 yards and a 51-yard kickoff return.
Timeout.
I think they actually erred in the spot of the football because it should be at the Wisconsin 49. It's a 2-yard miss, but he didn't step out at the Buffalo 49. He stepped out of the Wisconsin 49.
Their head referee, Steve Newman, they called him back over to the headset.
Yeah, I can do both. I can do both jobs, Nelly. I can do this game and be the replay official. I'd have to study some rules, but
yeah, that's all right.
The ball will be placed on Wisconsin's 49-yard line.
Thanks, Steve. I could have told you that. I could have told Steve that 2 minutes ago. Save some time. 51-yard return, and I'm gonna actually send a resume to
we got video
to the Big
clips
Ten.
right there.
I could do it right here. They, just a little double dipping. I'm here anyway. And the clock runs now with 1:03 to play, and it's rolling. 49-yard line at Wisconsin. Paoli looks, and that is a fumble. No, they're going to call it incomplete. I don't know about that one. It is incomplete. That's one of those that we saw a few weeks ago when the arm Stocco did it here against Penn State. When the arm is coming forward and you decide not to throw it and the ball comes out, that should be a fumble.
Yeah, and again, Steve Newman, the head referee, was right there. He blew it dead right away. He's going to take a look at this again. I think Coach Bielema is asking the questions.
That should not be an incomplete pass. We saw it with John Stocco against Penn State. That was the last play Stocco played. That was the play that accentuated his shoulder injury. And now Paoli looks to throw, and this one is a fumble. And the Badgers fall on it. Newkirk lands on it. Cooper a little disappointed because Jamal thought he was going to have a touchdown.
He did. He dove down. You can see him shaking his head. Newkirk dives in just a second before. I think Cooper was scooping and taking it to the house, but another turnover, another big play by this Wisconsin defense. They're talking on the sideline as he's going to scoop right there, but great play by Joe Monty coming off the side. Again, you see the speed of those defensive ends causing fits for those tackles.
Wisconsin.
And Coop's looking back.
They're second and a half.
Who took that
right
ball
there
from me? Monty Monty forced the fumble. Newkirk gets the recovery. Cooper thought he got denied a quick 6. Badgers have to take a timeout because the change of possession has the clock running, and they don't want this time to come off.
Well, and
so
they want to try and get down.
left.
Yeah, they want to try and get down in their score, and they scored at a minute and a half. They've got plenty of time now with the position of this football at the 46-yard line to go in, at least get enough to try a field goal. But I'm sure, knowing Coach Bielema and what he's done, going for 4th down conversions, going for big 3rd down conversion, going at it, trying to get 7 points out of this as they head into the half.
Cooper thinks he's well, I don't know if he's going to go. That offensive tackle's waiting there to take a shot.
Yeah. I tell you, Newkirk, though, they probably say, okay, I'm going to pad my stats a little bit. I'm going to just dive on this sucker. And Cooper's thing, I'm going to scoop it and run 50 yards.
The thing about Newkirk, he's a wrestler.
He's used to being on the ground.
He wants to be down there. He's going to pin it.
And just big plays, interceptions to start the game, fumble recoveries, cause fumbles, and that Wisconsin defense has been solid so far the entire game, only giving up 107 yards.
Buffalo has fumbled 3 times, lost 2 of them, also has thrown an interception. Donovan steps up, right sideline, and Hubbard was covered. It's incomplete.
Threw the ball a little bit high from Donovan out to Hubbard there, but Hubbard seals the guy on his backside. Unfortunately, because of the high pass, he doesn't really have a chance, but Donovan steps up into his protection, which is right. He's just got to put the money or put the ball more on the numbers, give Hubbard, his receivers, a chance to catch that and bring it down.
44 seconds remaining in the first half. Ball rests at the Buffalo 46-yard line. And a second down here. Donovan has time. Now steps up, will run, and has room. Dancing to the
Trying to get out of bounds.
What an athletic play by Tyler Donovan. He ran right into the center of 3 Buffalo Bulls and then spun his way out to the near sideline to kill the clock.
Well, he does the right thing there. He steps up to throw it, and he's got all guys covered downfield, but very good vision on his part to see green and tuck it. And I'll tell you, this isn't something you can coach. To put on the brakes and then get outside, avoid a linebacker, then see your Andy Crooks, your tight end out there, and be smart enough to locate the first down, plus get out of bounds. That's a heck of an athletic play right there by Tyler Donovan.
Well, it's one of those things that Tyler brings to the table that other Badger quarterbacks currently don't. I mean, John Stocco wouldn't do that. John does a lot of other things exceptionally well. But you got to take advantage of your strengths, and Donovan can run. And now he's got Luke Swan. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Buffalo's got their nickel package in there, trying to prevent the long pass downfield, but the cornerback, number 11, Andre Evans, lets Luke Swan get behind him. As it happened last week, Donovan and he connected for a big touchdown against Iowa. Donovan locates him once again. Swan runs a perfect route and a very, very good deep ball by Tyler Donovan, and a very simple catch for Luke Swan to celebrate in the end zone for Wisconsin as they head into halftime.
Extra point, tacked on, and good. Now here's the deal on Luke Swan. He's a walk-on.
Right.
He gets a scholarship at the start of just 2 days before the first game. When they started camp, everybody was lamenting an injury to Marcus Randall L.
Right.
And that Jarvis Minton would have to be the go-to guy, and that Paul Hubbard would have to step up. And they'd have to get production from true freshman Isaac Anderson, Xavier Harris. Nobody talked about Luke Swan.
And I think that's exactly the way he wanted it. He's been solid in his entire career here. Donovan gets thrown down, but he knows if I put the ball in the position for Luke Swan to go get it, whether he's covered or not, he's going to go get it. He's shown that time and time again during his career. But Luke Swan's a guy that loves playing football. He knows he's not the fanciest footwork. He knows he's not the fastest guy out there. But if you put the ball in his area, he's going to be a guy that's going to go compete with anybody in this league, anybody in the country to score and catch that football. That one, he didn't have to do a whole heck of a lot of competing. It was a very, very well-thrown ball and a simple catch for a very, very good receiver this year.
Swan with 2 catches today for 59 yards and a touchdown, coming off of a week ago where he had 4 catches and 113 yards and a touchdown against Iowa. It's the 5th touchdown this season for the Badger junior. I didn't think they'd kick it all the way deep to Roosevelt's hands again. Underneath and to the 41-yard line.
There's number 80, Chad Upshaw, right there. I was wondering if they were going to debate doing the offsides again as before, but I think from what I've read and heard, the Big Ten Conference came back and said if that happens where it's that blatant with what Wisconsin did, the officials have the ability then to overrule that and make sure that they can't do that, call actually a penalty on Wisconsin.
So Buffalo will have the football at their own 42, and the clock starts now. They don't have a timeout. So this should be the last play of the first half. Going to snap it with less than 5 seconds on the clock. And a draw. Goes off the left side, and the first half will come to a close. And Wisconsin gets 14 late half points and makes this look a lot more comfortable than it was for some time. So going to the locker room, Wisconsin, a 38-point favorite, leads Buffalo 21-3. Second half football comes your way next. You're watching the Badgers on Wisconsin Public Television. Welcome back to Camp Randall Stadium at the start of the second half, just around the corner. Badgers get a couple of late touchdowns in the first half, Scott Nelson. And with that, they extend the lead out to 21-3. It was much closer than that for most of the half.
Yeah, it really was. They haven't been able to get on track with their running game at all. They've actually produced by the passing game with Donovan's arm and Luke Swan big catches, Travis Beckham big catches. But I tell you what, if they want to win this ball game, they've got to do it on the running game to control that clock.
Let's look at first half highlights. Over 220 yards in the air for Wisconsin in the first half. And the highlights early come on the defensive end. First offensive play of the game by Buffalo is intercepted by Jack Aikagwanu. He stepped in front. The very next play, Donovan waits and Hubbard clears for a 30-yard touchdown pass. And then P.J. Hill off the left side gets into the end zone. This inside of 3 minutes to play in the first half. And then you get the touchdown pass to Luke Swan, the junior, wide open. Donovan waited, Swan cleared, touchdown, Wisconsin 21-3. But I think, Nelly, really the story of the first half is the Wisconsin defense. They got put in a goal line situation and came up big.
Yeah, they've done things all game long very, very well. They've tackled well. They've produced turnovers, interceptions, fumble recoveries. They're out there. They're doing the right things. And I tell you what, that goal line stand, I think, really sent a message to the offense. Our defense is doing a lot of great things. We've got to get the job done. Zalewski is a big-time linebacker. He's made some big plays going in there, wrapping up tackles, and then he's got his teammates coming in behind him to wrap them up.
Well, Wisconsin leads it 21-3 at the break, and trying to extend that here in the second half. Badgers dominating the end of the first half. And then what happened later in the first half, Wisconsin came up with a goal line stand, Nelly.
Yeah, and here's some of the highlights we're talking about, highlighting Zalewski, one of the seniors, big time, forces a big play, pushes a guy back, his teammates come and help. Next play, Zalewski comes up, it's all him, wrapping people up. Here comes big Nick Hayden, and I'll tell you what, this play right here sends a message, reading the quarterback, but your linebacker 3 plays in a row, the captain of this team, doing what he needs to do to help win this ball game.
Jerry Butler takes the opening kickoff of the second half out to the 30, took a shot, had a little bit of a seam, and nearly found a way to make one jump out. There's the first half statistics. Look at Wisconsin in the air, 232 yards, only 30 rushing yards, and I'm fairly certain that might have been one of the points of emphasis at the half, is to establish the ground game, take some time off the clock, start to own that time of possession, which the Badgers have done all season, but not so much today.
Yeah, they've dominated the time of possession throughout the course of the season by almost about 8-9 minutes per ball game, but they've got to get on track with the running game if they want to continue to do that. And what is it, 30 yards from Wisconsin rushing is not typical for this Badger football team.
There's P.J. Hill running behind Andy Kemp and Joe Thomas. Good spot to go behind Big Joe. Now it's talking with some people close to Joe this week, and said that he was very miserable the first 2 or 3 weeks. Didn't feel he played particularly well. Was fighting through the fatigue that comes with recovery from a knee surgery. But over the last, that's Hill again, but he'll be short of the first down. Over the last 6 or 7 weeks, really felt like he came back to where he was and was really, really enjoying himself, and has had a great senior season. He's only practiced hard 1 day a week. That's on Wednesday.
Right. And I don't want to say, from his perspective, he probably didn't play that well. I think looking back at the injury late in the year in the bowl game, not going through spring practice, rehabbing that knee all the way through, I think he's done a tremendous job. And more than just his production on the field, he's been a leader vocally and visibly as a captain and teaching the young guys, this young offensive line who hadn't started a game, except with the exception to him, to produce as they've done all year.
P.J. Hill kept his feet inside the 50 to the 48, maybe the 47. And it appeared that he was going down, but he kept his legs moving, put his hand down, and kept going.
And those are some of the things. He's got a very, very big hole. Joe Thomas blocking down, number 75, the left guard. Andy Kemp blocking down. He gets through there untouched, and when he does get hit, he's aware enough that it's coming low, so he puts his hand down to prevent himself from going down on the tackle. Had he even not had to do that, I think he's dragging the one guy for another 4, 5, 6 yards.
Well, he's already got 24 yards here in the second half, only had 25 at the break. Donovan rolls, throws, Swan catches.
That's a route they've gotten better and better at. You bring Beckham over in motion or line him up at the wing, and then you do a naked bootleg, and Beckham leaks out into the middle or off to the hash there. And Donovan's looking at him, but he sees downfield. Swan is wide open, beat his guy. Why not go for the first down as opposed to making Beckham run 15 yards for it? But those are some of the vision things. They've got 2 guys open. He can pick and choose where he wants to go with the football there.
Luke Swan, 3 catches, 73 yards today and a touchdown. Paul Hubbard has the other touchdown in the air, 3 catches and 47 yards. Travis Beckham the workload, and now he'll get a carry. Beckham with a stutter step and a big stiff arm. He'll only get a yard, but that's a pretty good run.
Those are the runs that, you know, as a coach, you like to get more out of, but they're certainly fun as a fan to watch. P.J. Hill cut the outside linebacker there so Travis could get around. Then he's got 3 guys, and we talked about it before. He's tall and lanky, but he is really, really strong. He put his hand on the helmet of the opposing defender there and just push him down on the ground. You see him dragging there, number 20 for Buffalo, Kareem Byram, the outside linebacker. That just shows you how big and strong Travis Beckham
give Byram some credit, too. He held on, even though he got thrown down. He still held on to the jersey.
Sometimes you got to go for a fun ride as a defensive player, too.
2nd and 10. Hill with a lot of room on the outside. Chose to cut it back inside. He really had room, and now they're saying it's a fumble. Ball is loose on the turf, and Buffalo says they've got it, and they do.
PJ's getting up a little bit slow. Not sure exactly what happened there, but the official on the far sideline saw it happen. He came in, and there was no question that that was a fumble.
PJ's not getting up, and that the way he's holding it looks like it might be a shoulder-type stinger.
And he got dinged up earlier in the year with his neck where he did have some stinger problems, and as he's cutting back in here, puts his shoulder down, gets hit, and they do a good job of ripping in there, and then 3 guys come and finish him off. But a good call by the officials. Very good defensive play by Buffalo and awareness to recover that football.
That ball comes out early. It comes out right on the drag, right there. Going to rip it out. There it is. Loose. Then PJ took a shot on the top of the right shoulder.
Jesse Imes, number 14, the free safety coming in to finish him off, put his helmet right onto his shoulder.
So Hill being escorted to the near sideline. So after what looked to be a very promising drive to open the second half, Wisconsin turns it over on the fumble.
This is where the defense gets put in a situation, a quick sudden turnover, a change. They've got to come back and produce. The offense was moving, get the ball back quickly for them so they don't lose that momentum.
Badgers on the stat sheet listed with 4 fumbles, 2 of them lost. Levy gets to Paoli and takes him down for a loss of 3.
Levy's locked down on the tight end, number 80, Chad Upshaw to begin with. Upshaw releases, and Levy's got to decide, is he going to cover him or is he going to go after the quarterback? And Paoli, when he releases off, he's got to recognize that and hit his tight end right away. Right here when Levy starts coming, throw the ball to him. He's wide open, and he's not ready to throw. He doesn't have the ball up, and that creates the sack for DeAndre Levy. A big play from the outside linebacker.
Paoli with his 3rd career start today, 2nd and 13. On the delay, up the middle, and Casillas steps up into the hole.
You know, it's nice to see when the play is blowing dead. You only have 2 red jerseys about 15 yards downfield. That's both corners, Ike Iguano and Ben Strickland. All 9 other guys are in the box, helping each other, tackle each other, and the red jerseys are outmanning right now the white jerseys from Buffalo.
Is there time for sentimental thoughts of a player coming out here in the second half for the final time? A senior?
You mean as the player out there?
The player. Do they have any sentiment of this is the last time?
I don't think so much right now. You look at it as a regular game, you know, almost another pick. Ben Strickland there. I tell you, when you come out here, you're not so worried about this is my last game at home. I think when that starts to sink in is towards the tail end of the 4th quarter, when you see the clock ticking down. And most of the time, if this continues the way it is, those seniors will start coming off, those starters will start coming off, and they're enjoying playing right now. You can see that with Ben Strickland making a great break on the football, almost getting an interception, but I don't think they worry about it until the end of the game.
Hampton is back there. Another high snap and a low line drive that Hampton will have a chance at the 37. He gets spun down on the spot. Good coverage and a nice tackle in special teams on the takedown. Wisconsin gets nothing on the return. Kind of been one of the stories this year, Nelly. Wisconsin hasn't had much in the way of punt or kick return yardage.
Yeah, not like what they're used to when you had Jim Leonard back there in years past and Nick Davis and a lot of big names right there. And that's one thing when we've talked with Coach Bielema, what's the point of emphasis when you go out recruiting? And he's even mentioned to the point that, you know what, we want to bring in a guy that can play running back, a receiver, a defensive back, but I'm going to be looking for a guy that can return kicks, both kick returns and punt returns, because that, in years past, has been such a huge weapon for the Wisconsin Badger football team.
You see the list of seniors on the screen. A lot of those players, college football with such large rosters, there's a lot of anonymity. I mean, we talk about the big timers, the Joe Thomases, but Nate Engbaum and a lot of those guys on page 1 there aren't guys that you'll recognize.
Right. We won't recognize them necessarily in the media or as fans because they're not a name out there like Zach Hampton would be. But those are guys, if you ask their teammates how important are they to this football team, well, they're the guys that are out there working really hard on special teams, giving a good look to the starting offense, to the starting defense, and doing those things. And so when these guys, as Joe Monty comes out and Joe Thomas comes out and John Stock will come out, they're going against some very, very, very good ball players that just haven't been able to push through into the starting lineup.
Roderick Rogers from Stone Mountain, Georgia, has had a very solid senior season. A couple of big plays and very solid throughout. Stellmacher from Berlin, Wisconsin. Former walk-on, made his way all the way up to a 2-year starter and a captain. John Stocko, who didn't play the final 2 games here after starting 35 consecutive games, came out in uniform, dressed, ready to go, not going to go. They hope that John Stocko will be ready to go and believe he will, certainly, by the time they play in the bowl game. Mark Zalewski, what a haircut that is. Nelly, I actually think that would look good on you.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you get approval from my wife, by all means, I'll give it a shot.
And then Joe Thomas coming out. He was the last one introduced, and he got the largest ovation, the largest response from those here in Camp Randall Stadium. Next year, he'll be playing Sunday afternoons. That's Lance Smith up the middle, delays, and then gets the 43 for a pickup of 5.
Lance Smith, first time we've seen him in the game here today. But, this senior class, as you can see right there, obviously tremendous with their leadership, winning ball games and going to bowl games and enjoying playing in front of Camp Randall Stadium, and obviously very, very successful. 17-1 up to today at home, a chance to go 18-1. There's not many places in the country that you have that home field advantage. For a long time, people didn't think Camp Randall was that hard to play, and I think that's changed now.
Lance Smith again, gaping hole, almost breaks it out. It's a big pickup and nearly took it all the way.
Jesse Imes, number 14, the free safety hit. He not made that tackle. I think Lance is still running. You can see the speed that he has, the quick cuts that he has, but his vision has been getting better and better. That's a big hole for him to go through, but to plant right there and cut outside, almost get there with the exception of that shoestring tackle, that's very, very, very good ball control. Very, very good running by a running back.
Badgers now driving again. First drive was thwarted by a P.J. Hill fumble. Now moving the ball once again inside of Buffalo territory. Smith, second back through. Andy Crooks, the lead block there. Maybe a yard and a half, 2 yards on the pickup.
And those are hard to try to utilize his speed outside. You get Crooks out there blocking, you get your tight ends and your tackles trying to get them around the corner. But this speed of the Buffalo defense, I'm really impressed with. They got a lot of linebackers that aren't very big. The inside guys are about 230, which is about right. But the other guys, the outside backers, are only 190, 195, 200 pounds, and that's not very big as an outside backer, but they sure run real well.
P.J. Hill back on the field. 2nd and 9. That's a busted play, and Donovan's going to make a lot out of it. He'll get the 25, maybe the 24. I think it's a busted play, and Tyler is a little slow to get up. Hops right up, though, after the... You don't want to...
Not two quarterbacks with the shoulders, absolutely. I'm not sure if that was a busted play, Mike, or not. He's coming quick, and it probably looks like, as he did turn and looked like it was going. I think they were going to run the reverse to Beckham again. Donovan does the right thing. That's a smart quarterback that he is. He tucks it and gets upfield for positive yardage. Great blocking and over pursuit helps him get downfield.
Just the way they're downfield there with Crooks, it looks like it might have been designed, but it was good fake nonetheless. And me fooled. 25-yard line, first down. Hill on the stretch, right side. Nice in cut to the sideline. Touchdown, flag down. They're going to bring it back on a downfield block by the wide receiver, Paul Hubbard. They're going to bring it back.
The last time P.J. cut up when he fumbled the football.
Holding. Number 1 on the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. remains first down.
Well, they call it against Luke Swan. Hubbard was over there as well. I didn't notice it when it happened, but we'll get a good look here.
Faking upfield, plants outside. You know, that's very close to whether that should have been called or not. The official has, obviously, the perspective that we don't down on the field, but when you have a guy that's beating his man downfield, blocking as well, a lot of times you see him let that go. It's difficult for Swan to go and block him when PJ cuts in. He's got a good block when he cuts out, and then I think you see the jersey get pulled slightly, but again, just a judgment call by the official.
It's a spot foul, so it brings up 1st and 6. They mark it back from the spot of the infraction. And Hill on the right side, they seal the edge, and he'll get the 17-yard line or so, 18-yard line. It'll bring up a 2nd and about 3.
We're starting to see Wisconsin, who we talked about in the first half, only about 30 yards rushing in the first half. They're already up to 110 halfway through this 3rd quarter, so they're obviously establishing the ground game. They know they're going to control the clock that way. This is something that the bread and butter of the Wisconsin Badger football team has been. Looks like they're going right back to it.
2nd down and 3, make it 4. 2nd and 4 is the spot. More than midway through the 3rd quarter. And a pitch. Hill. First down. They'll get the 13-yard line and a first down for Wisconsin.
Just a simple run for Wisconsin here, just trying to go through the simple things, and good blocking downfield by Hubbard. Crooks coming out. Joe Thomas sealing off the corner, and a big hole, a lot of green space for PJ to run. Even though their linebackers are pursuing, he's going forward every time he gets hit.
PJ Hill, 17 carries, 74 yards today. Lance Smith has come on a little bit here in relief in the 3rd. 3 carries and 20 yards. Wisconsin now approaching 120 yards on the ground for the day. PJ Hill spins to the 10.
Just a workhorse. PJ keeps getting the ball time and time again. Looks like his shoulder's feeling okay. He's getting up. He's a little tired. And Coach understands when he gets tired, he's not as effective as when he is when he's fresh. So sure, they're looking at that. They want to reward him for some of the big plays he's had inside the 10-yard line here. But if he gets too tired, I'm sure he's not afraid to put Lance in there or Daiwan Rowan as well.
2nd down. They can still get a first just at the 3-yard line. Hill following a lead. He'll get it to the 1. Ball comes out, but he's down.
This is
Hill
down.
Yeah.
Following right guard Craig Urbick, who pulls. They run a simple lead block that way, and as he's going, as big as PJ is, trust me, Urbick's a little bit bigger. He tucks in behind there, and you see big number 63 leading up in the hole. PJ follows him right on his backside, gets in there.
Ooh, that ball came out. Now they can't review this because they whistled it dead.
As he's reaching forward, right about there,
what,
the ball starts coming.
His knee might have been down, but I think the ball actually came out. PJ comes back to the Badgers sideline. Lance Smith is in the game as the tailback behind Rentmeester. 1st and goal. Play action. Open is Crooks. And he just missed it. Andy Crooks caught a touchdown when the first game of the season. Right. He has 4 touchdowns in the air this year. That could have been the 5th.
And as Donovan rolls out here, Crooks is open initially, and then you see 58, Bublavi getting there. He's got to throw a little bit further. If he tries and hit Crooks right in the numbers, that gives the defender a chance to intercept the football. So it's not a bad thrown football. Crooks just can't quite get to it, though.
2nd and goal. See if they power it. Lance Smith behind Rentmeester. Smith, 2nd back. 1 block. Touchdown, Lance Smith. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Good seal off by the offensive line, but I tell you what got Lance Smith into the end zone is number 34, Bill Rentmeester. Again, glad to see him back on the field after being gone for a couple games with an injury. He's back. Big time block at the goal line, and Lance lowers his shoulder and gets the job done to score 6 for the Wisconsin Badgers.
So an impressive drive for Wisconsin. 12 plays, 64 yards, and a touchdown. Make that 11 plays, 62 yards, and the touchdown. And Wisconsin extends the lead Extra point is good, and it is 28-3 Wisconsin.
Wisconsin obviously has established control of this football game late in the first half. Now well into the second half here in the third quarter. Very good drive, 5 minutes on that drive. So they're establishing ball control offense again, and Smith gets rewarded first with Rentmeester making the block and then him lowering the shoulder, but a very good play call. Nothing fancy, just simple dive lead off the tackle. Smith goes in for the score.
So the Badgers have now extended it out, lead at 28-3 with just inside of 5 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Wisconsin, I'm sure, as they're down there getting talked to by their coaching staff on this kickoff coverage team, they're going to kick it deep. They got to make sure they stay in their alleys. They got to fight and get off blocks. They got to get downfield and cover, again, because Naaman Roosevelt is a threat, and that can give a lot of momentum back to this Buffalo team. Do I see him going all the way and coming back to win this football game? No, I think Wisconsin's defense is too strong, but they certainly have a lot to play for because they've got one more conference game against Central Michigan next week.
There is another permanent resident here at Camp Randall Stadium in the south end zone. Moved in last night officially. Former athletic director. There's Pat Richter on the left. Barry Alvarez on the right, and then Pat Richter in the middle. Bronze statue of Pat Richter just opposite of the south concourse of Barry Alvarez.
Got a little smile to him there.
Yeah.
Good to see.
Oh, he's a happy guy. There, you see a good close-up of the bronze statue, and there's Pat and his longtime wife, Renee. Beautiful family. Got to know Barry Richter, his son, over the years, who played hockey at the University of Wisconsin, still playing professional hockey. And what a legacy Pat leaves at the university, because he is the one that came in right after Donna Shalala and then hired Barry Alvarez, then hired Stu Jackson and Dick Bennett, and eventually Bo Ryan.
Right.
Mike Eves as the hockey coach, Mark Johnson as the women's hockey coach, and all of the sports. Yeah, I was talking about this with a few friends this last week about the overwhelming success at this university. The cross-country teams,
right.
The track teams, swimming and diving.
Soccer won a national championship.
Soccer has won a national championship. Obviously, the success in this stadium of Badger football. Badger basketball on the men's side has established a ton of dominance over the last 8 to 10 years. The women appear to be on the way. 2 national championships in hockey last year, men and women. Badger defense making a lot of work out of that play for Starks.
Yeah, first got in there, Jason Chapman, 91, fighting off his block, almost makes the tackle by reaching on his big paw, trying to bring him down, but Starks fights off of him. Then you get Zaluski and the other guys, Hayden, coming over and filling in the gaps and bringing him down for no gain. You talk about Pat, Mike. You know, he did it twice. He did it first as a player, going to Rose Bowls and doing things well that way, and then he came back and was the leader of the department. And I tell you, when you can leave your mark and leave your legacy that way, what a great, great thing for this university and for him as an individual.
Well, and it really goes to show you that if you establish leadership and then hire and put good people around you, great things can happen. That's what has happened here. They get tremendous pressure on Paoli, who rolls near sideline, throws near sideline. It is caught, bobbled, but hauled in by the tight end Upshaw.
Big catch by Upshaw. Very, very good thrown ball by Tony Paoli. And now they line up. It's going to be about 3rd and 2. But as he scrambles, he feels the pressure, but he's aware enough to where his receiver is, where Strickland can't get to the football, throwing it as he's falling out of bounds. And then his tight end, Upshaw, plants his feet, secures the catch first, and then goes down.
He's had 2 long passes today to the freshman wideout, Roosevelt. Can't take those away, but if you did, they got 22 yards of total offense.
Right. It's an amazing day for this defense. What a great way to go out this season.
Roosevelt has 2 catches for 90 yards. 3rd and short. Paoli over the middle, has his man, and is incomplete. They'll say it hit the ground. They were trying to get it to Terrence Bro, and it's incomplete, 4th down.
Terrence Bro got hit in the back of the head. There was Zalewski filling from the middle linebacker, but good protection starting up front. It starts to collapse. He locates the open man, and right here you see, actually that's Levy going up over the top of him. He hits him in the back of the head with his knee, and then Bro gets up feeling a little bit queasy.
Not sure why that wasn't a catch.
From that angle, it certainly looked like it. Looks like they're going to have a challenge from the coaching staff as the side official runs in for a main referee.
I don't know that any of the replays, though, are definitive enough to make it a change.
Buffalo has challenged the previous play as to whether it was a catch or no catch.
And from what we've seen, I'm not so sure it's going to be a yes or no answer. Very easy on that. But as a coach, you've got to give your guys a chance. And if you can use a challenge that way to get it done, then they obviously know that the coach is out there fighting for them as well.
I thought that might be the best angle, but there's a lot of arms and elbows in the way. And I don't think this angle that we'll get from behind will show enough. Can't see if the ball comes out as he goes down. So I don't think that they have enough video evidence to overturn the call on the field. And the call on the field is that it is incomplete.
Correct. Looks initially like he has it, and as he goes down, you can't tell if the ball touches the ground or not.
Well, it has to be irrefutable video evidence, and it is not.
Pioli looking pretty closely at the officials, trying to pay attention to what's going on. The coaching staff is getting a little extra time together with their guys. Wisconsin's defense is talking to each other. It's all about the communication. What are you seeing? If they run a motion or man coverage, what do we do? They're trying to game plan a little bit now. Here's our objective. Are we going to go for it? Are we going to punt? Trying to go through all those facets so when the official call is made, they're ready to go.
I was talking to Brett Bielema yesterday. You see him on the sideline. He's a big college football fan. So when the game is done, going to go home to his theater room at his house and watch Ohio State and Michigan.
I think a lot of people in the stands are.
There is no indisputable evidence to overturn the call. The pass is incomplete.
Buffalo's charged with a timeout. That's what I thought. Now, it might have been a catch, but there wasn't. The ruling on the field
correct.
is incomplete.
Correct.
And there wasn't enough there to change it.
As a coach, you know, he's going through. They've done some very, very good things, some good things on special teams, on offense and defense. And he's still wanting to win the football game.
Will be charged with a timeout.
But as a coach, you got to give your guys every chance, and if that means you waste a timeout because you think you can get one, might as well give it a shot and give your boys a chance to go out there and play on offense one more time for a first down.
Been a lot of high snaps on punts today. There's another one. And then a terrible punt at the near sideline that bounces out of bounds at the 50. Well, it's just been that punter has had to go up and catch high snaps all day.
And it really throws off their rhythm. If they can catch it right about the belly in their hands, they can take the one step and then launch it. Pre-game, he looked very, very well. Didn't have pressure in front of him, but didn't have to worry about the snap either. In the last couple games, here's another high snap, and as he goes, he starts to feel it. He's got the shanks.
Yeah, he does. He's got the shanks. I mean, their kicker's got the shanks. Their punter's got the shanks. Badger men's basketball not shanking anything so far. 9th ranked in the country. And they take on Winthrop on Monday, December the 4th. It is Jay Wilson and Charlie Wills on our coverage right here on Wisconsin Public Television. Broadcast time, 11 o'clock, Monday, December the 4th. A lot of talent on that basketball team. Orlando Tucker, Cam Taylor, Brian Butch, Greg Steemsma. A great freshman class, including Jason Bohannon, the basketball player of the year in the state of Iowa last year.
And he's been impressive up to this point. He's not afraid to shoot the football. He's got good ball control when he's dribbling down the court. He seems like he's got very, very good court awareness to find his guys when they're open as he is driving.
Leave it to a football player to say that Jason Bohannon likes to shoot the football.
Did I say that?
You did. That's okay. I mean, it's your background, Nelly.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the better moments of the day, huh?
J-Bo, that's what they call him because they've got another Jason Chappell. So they call him J-Bo, and wears number 12. already becoming a fan favorite. Very, very good player. Trayvon Hughes, another freshman, off to a good rookie campaign start.
You know, it's good to get some games like they've had with UW, Green Bay, and Platteville and Stout, and some of those teams that they played over the years, to really solidify some of the guys in the starting lineup, but to give the young guys a way to break in a little bit, not have to worry about the pressure of the Big Ten season. That's going to hit them quick enough.
Well, they have such great leadership with Orlando Tucker on the front line, and he can do just about everything you want a football player to do. Donovan, well, Donovan, he had nowhere to go on that one. Tried to spin out of the blitz coverage coming from Buffalo, spun one way, couldn't get there, and it's a big loss. Yeah, all the way back to the 36.
They came on a strong safety blitz, number 30, Mike Newton, who's also the leading player on the team with interceptions. He's got 4 of them on the year, and then you get, I believe it was number 89, the defensive end, Trevor Scott, to come finish him off. Really, Donovan didn't have anywhere to go and did the right thing in protecting the football.
Lance Smith is the tailback. It's 2nd and 25, a loss of 15. Donovan, he was going to swing it out to Lance Smith. Turf Monster jumped up and grabbed him.
He's going back, and he forgot the first thing, get my footwork underneath me, because he's got some pressure coming in, which is fine, because the offensive linemen do release some of their guys. Joe Thomas is going for a lead block. He feels that pressure and then trips over the hash mark.
We have to use thinner paint.
I think, to be honest with you, those are inlaid. I don't know if they're painted on or not.
It is 3rd and 33. Screen to Crooks. A lot of room. Is there 33 yards worth? I didn't think so. They'll get the 40, so pickup of 13. Give Ken DeBush a few extra yards to work with here on the punt.
And not a bad play call. A lot of times you see 3rd long, 2nd and long. You'll see a lot of draws, a lot of screens. And the last time we saw that here at home, Andy Crooks had a 25-yard touchdown reception against Illinois. Actually fumbled it, recovered it in the end zone. So it has been very, very productive for him, but not quite enough on that play for Wisconsin.
Ken DeBush on to punt for the 4th time today. Oh, what a beauty. Wow, did Kenny get into that one? Set down now, and it does. Kenny DeBush. Wow. With a 56-yard punt. I believe it's 56. My math works.
What a
all the way
weapon
down to the 4-yard line. That is a boomer.
They got a little momentum back on the Buffalo side, but I tell you what, you put them on the 4-yard line with an offense that struggled, and as well as this Wisconsin defense has played, oh my goodness, that puts him back in the hole. Big time play for him, and he hasn't been called on a lot. I tell you what, when he's produced.
56-yarder, bounded at the 9-yard line. It comes to rest inside the 5, and Buffalo now 28-3, final minute of the 3rd quarter. The length of the field to go. Starks all the way outside, past the 20 to the 22. Big pickup on 1st down.
That's certainly a way to get yourself out of a hole, is run for about 15-yard play with a freshman running back who's not backing away from these guys. He's athletic. He's one of the top producers already per season for Buffalo in his short career there. But I'll tell you what, he's going to be a kid that's going to be fun to watch for the Buffalo fans in years to come.
Looking to become the all-time leading rusher for a freshman in Buffalo history. Came in with 657 yards. Has 27 yards on the ground today, 18 of them there. Paoli keeps it, and Jack Ikeguano gets a little help from Stellmacher, taking him out of bounds at the 27.
Paoli, who's 6 foot, weighs 230 pounds, going against Jack Ikeguano, who's not quite that big. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds, but tried to lower his shoulder on Jack, and he wasn't having anything of it, forcing the quarterback out of bounds. Save face a little bit when you come to the sideline so your buddies don't pick on you that, hey, the quarterback just ran you over.
That is the final play of the 3rd quarter. And Wisconsin owns a 28-3 lead going to the 4th. We'll have the 4th quarter for you next. This is Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television.
Presentation of Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television is made possible in part by Goodman's Jewelers. John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers, proud of the tradition started by Robert and Irwin Goodman. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. The Mendota Gridiron Club, the official fundraising organization for University of Wisconsin football. University Athletic Department, with official information about Badger athletics on the web. The Wisconsin Alumni Association, connecting, enriching, and serving UW-Madison alumni and friends for more than 140 years. UWalumni.com. And by the Badger Fund, the Wisconsin Athletic Department's annual fundraising program, 14,000 donors supporting 750 Badger student athletes.
Well, one final time before they get to do it again next September.
Have a little fun, aren't you?
It's always fun to watch the opposing team's reaction to that. And the players on the field and their fans. There aren't many Buffalo fans making the trek here from the great Northeast, but the players were taken aback. I'm sure they were told about it, didn't think it was anything, and then they see that and they go, wow. There's 6 Buffalo fans in that, 6 of them.
That's
in
quite
that
a ways
shot
from the travel.
right there. Yeah,
for
it is
a lot of
long
family
way.
and friends.
Yep.
It is fun, though. You're right that when the opposing team looks over at the Wisconsin fans and they see the Wisconsin team getting into it as well, and after a while they kind of let loose. They start jumping around a little bit too, and that just shows that these guys are having fun out here, and what a great atmosphere to be a part of. And when you get a chance to play in front of these many people, you might as well enjoy it.
Badger defense continuing to play very well today. Number 1 in the Big Ten in pass defense, allowing 141 yards. Today they've given up 101. 2 plays accounted for 90 of those 101 yards.
Starks again on the carry, Mike, but wrapped up by a whole slew of Wisconsin Badgers.
There you see the statistics. No rushing yards, essentially, for Buffalo today. Badgers doing more damage in the air than they are on the ground and approaching 400 total yards. Turnovers have hurt both teams.
Wisconsin was able to finally get on track after a couple of turnovers, and Buffalo had a couple their way. They were able to kick 1 field goal, and the other one was just a really bad kick, trying to get the 6th point on the board when they were still really in the ball game. After that, it's been all Wisconsin.
It is 3rd and 3. Paoli looks near sideline, going deep. Jack Ikaguano has nothing to do with it. He says, going to Roosevelt. But when you try and pick on Jack, you know he's going to be there.
Yeah, he's physical. They're playing man-to-man coverage, and right from the start, he gets his hands on the receiver, and he's just running down what you're taught. Push the receiver to the boundary, put him on your backside, seal him off, and he does that as he locates the football. He knows it's a little bit overthrown. He tries to shield Roosevelt off, but they're both able to just tip it away from each other. But very, very good coverage from Mike Iguano.
Jack's very strong. I think that makes a big difference when you're jockeying for position. Got a different punter out there. What they need is a different long snapper. And it bounces, and again, takes a huge roll inside the 25 to the 23-yard line.
Hampton does the right thing there, Mike, and let it roll. Runs a little bit more time off the clock, probably about another 7-8 seconds by letting it roll. 48-yard punt there, but I tell you, it's still pretty good field position for the Wisconsin offense starting at the 23-yard line.
So the Badgers take over. Tyler Donovan runs back out on the field inside of 14 minutes to play in the regular season. Wisconsin at 10-1 looks to go to 11-1. That would tie the high for number of wins in a season and a chance to play in all likelihood in the Capital One Bowl on January 1st. Lance Smith. Oh, that turf monster.
He is all over the field,
up.
I tell you. Lance is as quick as he is. He makes very, very hard cuts, and as he tries to plant his foot, you'll see his right foot go down, and as he puts it in the ground, he just catches the toe and trips himself right there, left foot actually. Tries to plant outside and just caught himself on the hash, and unfortunately between him and Donovan both, resulted in being down what could have been very big plays.
Lance Smith, 5 carries, 31 yards. First down. And on the delay, Smith with a little gap closed up quickly by Buffalo. He'll lose a yard, maybe a yard and a half.
Number 89, the defensive end, Trevor Scott for Buffalo, fought off his block of Travis Beckham. They just ran a little counter play with Rentmeester coming back, and then Lance, as he tries to cut upfield, just to the inside, you'll see Scott step in, gets off the block, and you can see Beckham just trying to reach and making sure his guy doesn't get stuck. But a very good play, shedding the block and making the tackle at the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 11. Donovan throws left side, and it is incomplete.
Good protection up front by the offensive line. Donovan's got to see when he's got man-to-man coverage. Both guys are covered pretty closely by the outside backer in the corner. He's got to look to his backside check down because he's got Luke Swan and Paul Hubbard coming on the backside doing crossing routes. There was no help underneath from the linebackers. A much easier throw for the quarterback.
Beckham today with 4 catches for 119 yards for Travis. That's 55 catches and over 800 yards receiving this year for a converted defensive end. And just a sophomore. Donovan steps up, will try to run for it, now steps back, and he's got Daiwan Rowan. Rowan at the midfield, Rowan to the 35. What a great play by Tyler Donovan.
I tell you see Donovan running right there. He ran all the way back after he threw the football at about the 10-yard line. But what great field awareness of where he's at. As he's scrambling out, we saw him in an earlier scramble, plant like this and cut and continue to run. Same move, doesn't cross the line of scrimmage and locates his running back who's running wide open. And Daiwan gets downfield, knows he's going to get hit, protects the football. Big time play. Recognition by the quarterback and great awareness by Daiwan to get open for him.
There is a Buffalo player down and injured on the play. That's the hold up there, as you see. Again, Daiwan Rowan, a senior from Erie, Pennsylvania. Older brother Levon played here as a defensive back. And Rowan has had a solid senior season. Not a kid who walked on campus as a football player.
Right.
He didn't play until he was already on campus for 2 years. And I'm not talking about play. I'm talking about he wasn't on the team.
Right.
He wasn't playing college football.
Yeah, and then just decided, you know, my brother Levon's here playing DB. Might as well come out. He looks like he's having fun. He knows a lot of the guys probably from hanging out with his brother. And what a great story that is for him to come down. But 5'9", 241 pounds. He looks like an extra defensive tackle or offensive tackle or tight end out there, as opposed to a running back. But what a great story, great career he's had with limited playing time.
One of the great things about college football, and you know, it's a violent, tough, physical sport, and there are injuries, is that nice hair. There is that.
Well, both of them too. Look at Casillas.
That's a good look.
I guess that's senior leadership right there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a mane, isn't it?
Oh,
Now,
man.
what a-
Something's not quite right there.
Well, you know, you know this from playing. Linebackers are always a little goofy.
They're a little goofy. I don't think I play with guys that have been that goofy, though, to do that to them. They change it every single week from green to red to orange, a little bit of everything.
James Judges gets up here. What I was saying prior to the haircut shot is Badger coaches and medical staff walking all the way across the field to make sure that that young man is okay. That's one of the things about this sport. It's very, very violent, very physical. But when the play is over, you always want the other guy to get up.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the sportsmanship that the coaches exude to their players. They help each other up off the ground. It is intense, but you're not out there to hurt anybody. You're out there to win a football game. And there's many times when guys will make a tackle and somebody, you can hear them screaming on the ground at the bottom of a pile because they are hurt. You'll see those players pop up and start waving that medical person out there because they know at any given time it could be them on the ground as well.
Wisconsin has the ball at the Buffalo 35-yard line on the 33-yard catch and run by Daiwan Rowan. Tyler Donovan now approaching 300 yards passing. He had 228 last week. He's at 292 this week. Looking for more here. Throwing deep over the middle. Beckham raises up, but just can't quite get there.
Beckham goes up, raising his hand, one little pass interference. I'm not so sure that he's going to get that from those officials, but big target. Donovan throws it down there. Very, very well thrown ball. Beckham, as big as he is, goes up high for it. Gets a little nudge in the back. Not enough to warrant the pass interference call, but a good play call. He was open, a good read. They just got to make the connection.
It's a 2nd and 10. 12 minutes even to play in the game. Swan comes to the near side. Luke has 3 catches for 73 yards today. They'll carry it with Rowan. Cuts back. Dragged down after a pickup of a yard.
Not much happening there. They tried to go for the big play in the first down. Puts them in a difficult situation. Now they're looking at 3rd and 8, which is definitely an obvious pass situation. So it changes the play calling. Defense dictates to them what they're going to do. So they got to be aware of where the first down is. Don't let them pass the 25-yard line. They do that, this drive continues, but they've been able to come up with some big plays. Let's see if the Wisconsin offense can execute now enough to get them another first down.
3rd and 8. Donovan, left side, bad pass late, and it's intercepted. Tyler put a little too much air under that and a little late getting it out to Travis Beckham, and it is intercepted.
Yep. Intercepted by number 30, Mike Newton. Said a little bit ago, the leading person intercepting on the team. Came into the game with 4. That's number 5 on the season. Very good read on his part. Very good athletic ability to step in front of Beckham, pick that off, keep his foot in bounds to make sure that it's a completed pass.
You saw Tyler sliding late. That was, I believe, just to see a passing lane, and it was that little delay that allowed the safety to come up and make the play.
Yeah, because you focus on the quarterback so many times, when he drifts, you find yourself drifting just out of instinct with not a whole lot of place to go inside the hash. There was a great read, great interception.
First interception today thrown by Donovan. Now they put a lot of pressure on the direct snap to Stark. He fumbles it out of bounds.
Oh.
Fumbled it out of bounds. Royston was right there.
He was. Wow, that bounced right to him, and there wasn't anybody there in a white jersey to stop him from going to the distance.
Forward, out of bounds. We brought back to the spot of the fumble, 2nd down.
Newkirk knocking it out, but I tell you, if that would have fallen in bounds, I think Wisconsin defense scores and gets rewarded for a great day today.
So they mark the ball at the point of fumble. It can't be fumbled forward out of bounds. So where the ball came out is the 19-yard line, 2nd and 13. Stark on the delay. Ball loose on the deck this time, and Wisconsin has it.
Well, you don't succeed at first, try again. They're coming in, they're stripping the ball, they're punching at the ball, they're trying to get it down in this. As that running back goes down, Starks has to protect the football because there's a lot of red jerseys coming at him. They just continue to punch and strip, try and rip it out. That time Wisconsin got it. Was lucky enough that enough red jerseys were around there to help recover it.
Fumble forced by Chapman and recovered by Casillas. First down at the Buffalo 24. Donovan brings out Lance Smith as the tailback. Smith gets the carry, might get a yard. I don't know. I guess I'd have to look it up, but I believe that it would probably be the first time in Wisconsin football history that they would play an entire season and never have a fullback carry the ball.
Yeah, I would agree.
They've not. Bill Rentmeester hasn't had a carry. Josh Neal hasn't had a carry. And Crooks is lined up at fullback, but he hasn't had a carry from the fullback position.
Right. And I don't know, depending upon how this plays out here, if they get down to the goal line, maybe they'll do that. But when you've got 3 running backs in Smith, P.J. Hill, and Dawan Rowan that they are able to produce, you've got very, very good blocking running fullbacks. Why not just let them get up there and do that? And that's what they've done so well. Big time catch again by Travis Beckham. Perfect pitch and catch, though. Donovan puts it right on the money in traffic, and he seals it down for another reception on the day. Number 5.
Beckham is hard to tackle. Not only is he so athletic to get open, he's always a mismatch against linebackers or safeties, but look at him run through the tackles.
And that's 2 or 3 guys hitting him. It's not just one trying to get him. He catches the football. There's 1 ball player, 2 ball players. Here comes a 3rd coming to take him off, and they can't get him. That's just pure strength and athletic ability.
That's a career high for Travis Beckham, 135 yards, 5 catches. See if they try to get him to the end zone. He looked that way, but he's covered. Still looking. Still looking. Now Donovan goes down at the 11, maybe the 12-yard line. He was trying with all his might to get it to Travis Beckham.
Yeah, and Beckham was moving around, but good coverage downfield. The difficulty is passing from the 10-yard line, 15-yard line in, is you don't have all the real estate for your receivers to adjust and move. Once they get in the end zone, it's pretty much locked down. You've either got to throw it or you got to go running, and Donovan couldn't do either because of the pursuit and the coverage downfield.
2nd and goal. The ball is at the 11. They cannot get a first down. And Donovan steps in behind his center, Marcus Coleman. And a delay. Rowan to the end zone. Touchdown, Daiwan Rowan. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Running a track play for Daiwan Rowan, number 75. Andy Kent pulling. Get your backup tight end, number 82 for Wisconsin, who I think has seen maybe 2 or 3 plays today. And that would be Sean Lewis coming in for Wisconsin. Trapping on the kick out. Daiwan Rowan reading their backside, makes a cut straight upfield through a huge hole and dances in the end zone. Good to see a senior get rewarded like that today.
3rd touchdown on the season for Rowan. The extra point is good by Melhap, who on the season, you kind of forget about these things when they're good. But Taylor Melhoff on the season now is 45 of 45 in extra points.
Yeah,
we take kicking for granted when it's good.
Right. Well, and I think that's why in a couple years it wasn't as good. You go through Vitaly Pisetsky, and then things dipped a little bit. People get frustrated with that, but it's very hard to find a kicker that is that good and that dedicated. Works so hard in the offseason, not only in extra points, but field goals, moving it around from right hash to left hash, 45, 50-yard kicks, and he's dedicated the time. You're not going to see them in the weight room getting large and trying to get faster and bigger and stronger. They're working on their technique so it's consistent. So when they're called upon, it's just like you said in the golf game. It's a single stroke, but a lot can happen in there. If you one misstep, one foot placement is wrong, and you can shank it or it's off to the side, and that can cost your team a game.
So Taylor has been very good, perfect on the season. And Wisconsin extends the lead, takes all doubt out of this ball game with a 35-3 lead inside of 8 minutes to play. And what was tight with about 3 minutes left in the first half at 7-3 has turned out to be what most thought it would be.
I think it just taken a little bit longer to get there than what most thought it would take.
Yeah. There's Taylor. Here's our trivia question for the day. You know what? I have to tell you, I didn't look at this. And
I didn't either.
All right, so I'm going to read it off the screen. UW is just one of 4 teams in the country to win 9+ games in each of the past 3 seasons. Who are the other 3? I'm gonna say Southern Cal.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that pretty easy?
Yeah.
I haven't lied, honestly. You're gonna say I'll go along. Texas. I'll go with you. Can I phone a friend on the 3rd one?
You don't have any lifelines.
No lifelines. All right. I got Southern Cal, Texas, and
I'm gonna say Ohio State.
Are you gonna say Ohio State? You're wrong. See, I didn't make that third choice yet. It's not Southern Cal and Texas?
You're kidding.
Auburn. Not Southern Cal? It's kind of a trick question.
They're tricky downstairs, huh?
They are. They're always tricking us. Southern Cal apparently has just 8 wins. They lost that game
about
against
Boise State. Wow.
Southern Cal lost to Oregon.
Yeah.
Is it Oregon or Oregon State? One of those two.
It was Oregon.
I get them mixed up. Southern Cal gets Cal today. They get Notre Dame and UCLA. They still have a lot of games. 3 games left in the season. Playing late. Melhap kicks it. It carries into the end zone, 5 yards deep. I'll tell you what, that's Buffalo's best weapon. I don't care if he's 9 yards deep. I want Roosevelt bringing it out.
Yeah, and he's going against Melhoff, who Coach Bielema told us earlier in the season is the guy that he looks to be his eyes and his ears on the field. He's one of the guys that he trusts and relies on that put weapon against weapon, and I'll kick it deep, see if you want to return it. And he's put it deep in the end zone the last couple times and really negated that weapon for Buffalo.
By the way, Southern Cal's loss was to Oregon State, and they are playing Cal today. They still have Notre Dame and UCLA on their schedule. Inside of 7:40 to play in the game. The delay to the second back through, and bottled up in the middle is Stephen King.
King, the ball carrier.
Paul Duran, who's a fifth-year senior out of Apple Valley, Minnesota, came in on a blitz, made that tackle, and I think, Mike, we're going to start to see a few more guys that have earned the right safeties. They're rotating through. You're getting D linemen, some new guys in there, and rewarding that defense for a stellar game. Only giving up 140 yards up to this point, but what a tremendous output, creating turnovers and creating 5 fumbles, recovering 3 of them, and interceptions, and just an all-out outstanding game by those 11 on the defensive side of the ball.
Nettles is in as a corner. Zach Hampton on the field. Johnny White in at the safety position. And Kim Royston, those are the 4 defensive backs. You have Jabbery McFadden, one of the linebackers out on the field, first time today.
Newkirk, Hodges, a bunch of guys in there that have seen some time because of the success that Wisconsin has had, but this is their time to get in. They got 7 minutes of this ball game, 6.5 now to play. This is a time to show the coaches, hey, I'm ready to play. You call my name and my number. I'm going to get out there, coach, and do the best I can. Plus, something happens in the bowl game. I'm hungry. I want to get after it. And this is their time to show the coaching staff what they can do.
Well, it's a 3rd down and 5 play, and Buffalo's going to take a timeout with 6:12 to play.
Timeout, Buffalo.
Badger
Their second
hockey
and a
is
half.
coming your way soon, again on Wisconsin Public Television. Michigan State comes to the Kohl Center on Saturday, November the 25th. And the coverage on Wisconsin Public Television begins at 10:30, Saturday, November 25. Now, there have been a lot of surprises on this Wisconsin football team and a lot of unknowns when the season began. One of those unknowns is who would carry the torch in the backfield, who would carry the rock. And P.J. Hill was a redshirt freshman who broke his leg a year ago, and he has certainly answered that question. He's a semifinalist for the Doak Walker Award, the only freshman on the list.
You know, Mike, one thing that amazes me when you look at that list, there's, 3 juniors on that? Everybody else is an underclassman, sophomores and freshmen. You get 1 senior on there at the bottom in Northern Illinois, Garrett Wolf, who's had an outstanding senior season. But it's amazing to me, looking at that list, how young those guys are, but how talented the guys on that list have become.
Darren McFadden at Arkansas has made a late rush. He does everything. He'll get a lot of direct snaps in the tailback position, almost running as an option, straight option quarterback on direct snaps, even though he's a tailback. He's thrown touchdown passes. He's obviously run for them. Very talented player on an Arkansas team that has kind of come from anonymity to secure the SEC West title and maybe a shot at Florida in the SEC championship. There's no clear front runner for the Heisman Trophy Award other than maybe Troy Smith at Ohio State, and he can win it today. I mean, usually you win a Heisman Trophy because of a marquee game, and Troy Smith can win it today.
Yeah, it doesn't get any bigger for him, obviously. He produced well last year against Texas in the loss, went down to Texas this year and led his team to victory, and this is the one that's going to put a stamp on his career. If he pulls this one out for Ohio State, I think you're right. He is the front runner. But as you mentioned, there's 2 or 3 weekends of football yet with some very, very good players to still get out there. There's a lot of things still up in the air.
Little buttercup going on in the background. You know the words. I don't know what you were talking through. You could have sang it.
You don't want me singing.
No, you're right. 3rd and 5. Blitz comes. And they got him tipped. It is still caught at the 30-yard line. Going to be close. And the spot will give him a first down. Ball tipped at the line of scrimmage as the Badgers got big-time pressure on Paoli, who still got it away, got tipped and then caught for a first down.
coming off the left side, Cooper and then Monty both in there, and Monty comes back to get him. He's just able to release it. He doesn't even make a good throw. He just kind of shovels it out there, and his receiver's in the correct spot to catch it for the first down. But great pressure up front by the Wisconsin front four.
Chad Upshaw, the tight end, made the catch. It's his second catch on the day. The delay up the middle. McFadden on the tackle. Pickup of about 3. That was King.
Hodges and Duran coming in on a blitz from the linebacking core. And Duran just gets sidestepped. Very good move by Starks to get by him. And you're right, McFadden comes in and wraps him up. But these guys are still playing. They're still coached well. They're still trying to do some good things. Getting out there competing against the second string for Wisconsin, who has obviously not took much of a drop-off from the starters in this football game.
See, Hodge, his older brother, plays for the Green Bay Packers. Played a lot in Iowa, his older brother. And been on the injured list in Green Bay. Cooper with pressure. Deep throw left sideline. Tim Royston back defensively. And very good coverage by Royston, who is a freshman from Minneapolis and shows he can play.
Yeah, he's got some speed, obviously. He's pretty big down low, too, where he's got very, very good footwork, but he's collision up front, and as he goes into man coverage, just like Ike Iguano did earlier, he tucks him on his backside, starts running, and he's good position. The receiver has to go through him to get to the football, and he doesn't allow that to happen.
Might see Royston move to the safety position next year. The Badgers graduate both the strong and free safeties in Stellmacher and Rogers, and the 2 initial backups, Hampton and White, are also graduating. So the depth that Wisconsin has on the back end, Shane Carter, who's been out hurt, Royston, they can shuttle some people around there. You know Ike's going to stay as a lockdown point. Big hit coming up from behind. That's Hodge.
And he loves that stuff. He eats that up, gets out there, and when he's got a kill shot, especially when the guy doesn't see him coming, he can plant and go right through him. He loves that as a linebacker. Loves playing that way.
Well, and a good deep drop. He got to his marker, and Elijah Hodge comes up and levels a hit. They really like what Elijah Hodge brings to the table. A 217-pound freshman from St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. Return coming, fair catch called at the 31. That's the third different punter, I believe, used by
Taylor Packwood, actually a kicker, number 34, getting in there punting. And I tell you, when you try and scramble in your kicking games like that, you can try some different things now, but you hate to go into a game really uncertain of how your kicking game is going to be because you're not solidified in those positions as Wisconsin would be.
Dustin Shear is the quarterback for Wisconsin as they come out in the final 5 minutes of this one. Wearing number 18. Shear is a redshirt freshman from Cicero, Indiana.
Lance Smith on the carry.
Lance Smith. Yeah, there's a couple in the middle. Well, there will be a full-out quarterback battle for the Wisconsin starting job in September. The battle will start in spring football. Alan Everidge, a transfer from Kansas State, is a left-hander, and he played at Kansas State. And with the coaching change there, decided to leave, and Wisconsin recruited and won his services. But Tyler Donovan has stepped up and said it will be a battle. It won't be just handed to Alan Everidge.
And he's going to earn even more respect from the coaches as they're heading the bowl season, practicing more there, and really solidifying himself going into the spring season as the #1 guy. And he's going to force him to win the battle or take that position from him. He's not going to give it easy, that's for sure.
Smith on the delay cuts back and behind a makeshift offensive line now, all changed up front. Most of them changed up front. There's not much there. Joe Thomas has finished a wonderful senior season, a season that we did not expect to have Joe Thomas at Wisconsin. He injured his knee playing defense for Wisconsin against Auburn in the Capital One Bowl last year and came back for this, his senior season. His career here wraps up, and he'll be a round 1 draft choice. Sean Lewis had a chance to catch a ball there from Dustin Shear and just dropped it.
Incomplete.
Throwing a little bit low and behind him, which as a quarterback, when you come back, Shear just throws a little bit low. He had all the green space to run to get to the first down, but that's one of the things when you come off the bench as a quarterback, Cole, it's hard to throw those on the money. Just look at him. When he's walking by, you never lose sight of his head. That's how big he is. He just stands head and shoulders above even his teammates. But what a quality guy. Great student athlete. very, very talented athlete on football, very, very good in basketball in high school, and one of the top throwers in the Big Ten Conference at shot and disc as well. Won the state title as a senior as well.
Can you imagine taking a charge in basketball from Joe Thomas?
I wouldn't want to hit him either way if I'm delivering the charge or taking the charge.
How about trying to box him out to rebound? Try to move him out of the lane, or, if he's coming on a back screen and you step in to take a charge from Joe Thomas.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to ever happen. He's a guy, though, Mike, when you look at him, he's not dirty, he's not mean. He gets after you and he competes and he battles, but he's the first guy to reach down and help you up. And if he knocks you over, head over heels, he's smiling, having fun, and enjoying what he does. And that's what's so neat about him, to watch him. And he elevates his teammates to do that same thing. Produce, but do it the right way.
Great family, and Joe has not been without his trials and tribulations. He lost a very close friend during the football season this year at the University of La Crosse, who went missing, and they found later that he had drowned. A high school teammate of Joe's and a couple of other Badger players who really struggled with that. Weren't able to fully deal with it because it was right in the middle of the season, no time off. He went over to help conducting the search, then went over for the funeral, and came back and played football the next day.
And that, as a player, that's probably the only thing you can do to tribute to your friends or relatives if something like that were to happen. And it means something a little bit more special for those guys, especially winning the ball game, in tribute to losing their friend that way. But Ben Strickland was the same way, another teammate of theirs in the state championship team, and that's not easy because you still have those ties so closely to your friends from high school.
And then they were down on the field here yesterday. Strickland was, along with Joe Thomas, watching their former high school play in a state championship game. Minute 30 to play in the contest. There you see Ben Strickland, the junior. He's got another year. Yeah, it's funny. Brett was telling me that on the offensive line for Brookfield in Joe Thomas's final year of high school was Steve Johnson, who is a long snapper for Wisconsin.
Right.
And Ben Strickland was on that team.
Right.
Ben Strickland was the player of the year in the conference, and Steve Johnson was the offensive lineman of the year. Joe Thomas was just another player.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve Johnson, a long snapper here, was the offensive lineman of the year.
I didn't know that. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, so they gave Joe a little heck for that earlier this week.
Well, they should.
Another high snap.
Watch out.
Bounces and let it roll, and clock will continue to tick at 1 minute.
Ball rolls dead at the 40-yard line, where will be 1st and 10 Wisconsin.
What a tribute to this senior class. Go undefeated here again this year. 2 years ago they were undefeated. Last year they lost to Iowa, the only loss that they've had here in 3 years. And what a great way for these guys to go. Joe Monty, one of them, great leaner. He's the glue of that defensive line and really that defensive unit. Coach Bielema has really taken to him, and what a leader he is. He followed his brother Pete here and really established himself. Didn't follow in the footsteps to begin with, but really became one of the top players and definitely one of the guys that this team rallies around. And what a tribute to all those guys, Stelmacher and Stocko, and you name it. The list goes on and on. And what a great way to end their career here at Wisconsin.
I'll be a little selfish here and pass on some accolades to this fine crew that we work with, now finishing our 3rd season. Great thanks to Deb Piper, who just does such an outstanding job in all regards here with Wisconsin Public Television. To John Gerbig, who directs many of the games. Ben White, who took care of the duties here today and has done that throughout the season. Steve Lucas, Mike Keds. All these great people that do wonderful work in sports and other things for Wisconsin Public Television. Nellie and I stand up here and call these games, but without all of their incredible efforts, it wouldn't be possible. So my great thanks to that fine crew that we've worked with for 3 straight years. And it's a winning crew. This is a winning crew. We have now called 19 games over the last 3 years and have won 18 of those.
Absolutely. And I sentiment, the same thing, Mike. Great people, a lot of fun. Very fun to be a part of the program and to call these games for not only them, for WHA and Wisconsin Public Television, but for the fans across the state. It's been truly enjoyable.
Wisconsin wins it today 35-3. Don't forget to tune in Monday night as UW women's basketball takes the court. The Badgers take on the Panthers of UW Milwaukee. And that's Monday on November 20th at 11 o'clock right here on Wisconsin Public Television. A great thank you to the great crew and all of those who stay up late and watch us. Have a great night. Wisconsin 35, the Buffalo Bulls 3, and the Badgers finish the season 11-1. Thanks for watching Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television.